Welcome to Radcast, the Random Ass Dudes podcast where absolutely nothing's off limits. Hosted by two guys with no script, no agenda, and no clue what's coming next. If it's random, it's fair game. Tune in, laugh with us, argue with us, or just wonder, what the hell did I just listen to? New episodes come out weekly, and pure chaos is guaranteed.
Like your pack showing, or like your hat or whatever.
When you do talk, you have to talk into the mic. Yeah.
Right into there.
Right there. Yeah.
I got you.
Make it deeper.
This is the sweet spot.
Hold on. Let me close my eyes. Make
Right.
it deeper, please. Oh, daddy.
Was that Howard Stern? She's on the microphone. She's sitting on the speaker.
Yeah.
They're humming.
All right. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Dang, how old were we?
Parts. Probably like 10.
Yeah.
Watching Howard Stern.
Like, damn.
Like, this is really interesting. This is
At
life's-
first, I
this is
remember
where life's going, dude.
I remember watching that, and I was like, "Dang, what is she doing?" And then you get like a little bit older, and you're like, "Oh shit,
I'm going to go get
Let me try that.
yeah." Or
stealing his moves.
yeah, or like watching.
why are we not capturing this? Are we
It
on?
is. Yeah.
It is. It's captured.
Okay, thank God.
Why'd you have to ruin it like that? That could have been a good
It's
clip.
supernatural moment.
It still is natural. I don't do dumb shit.
All
Okay.
right, pretend like you didn't say that and
That's
just keep
true.
going.
Yeah.
right.
Make it rough.
Okay. So Ace Ventura, when he goes and finds that girl's dog, and then she goes down on him.
Yes.
And he's like doing that.
doing the
Yeah, and that as a kid, I'm like what? I don't get it. But then you watch it when you're older, and you're like, oh shit.
There was a movie I just watched, and it was one of those moments where I watched it as a kid and it was like good, and I watched it as an adult and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that was way better as an adult.
yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was pretty recent. My wife and I both watched it. We were like, how do we miss all that?
It was Zach and Miri making porno.
No, that one was terrible. That was that movie, man.
Do you watch a lot of movies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say I have a problem with like memorizing lines from movies.
Yeah.
So I drop one-liners on people all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's a great way to like
I wish I
break
could.
the ice.
Yeah, I wish I could remember
shit.
that. Huh?
You don't remember nothing.
What'd you just say?
Yeah, see.
No, it's hard.
We'll bring movies up or songs, and he's like,
No, well, movies I could kind of do. It's the songs, man. I don't know song names.
or
I don't know lyrics or singers, but I recognize them.
I feel like if I went on the what was that, Name That Tune? If you could let me either just sing the lyrics, name the person, or the song, I would smash it. But like if you're asking for like all three, it's sometimes tough. But lyrics are I could sing a lot of songs. But that's like
Really?
I've been driving around in a car for
Yeah,
10 hours for 2 decades. I mean, you're going to learn some music. Like, I remember this song.
yeah.
You know? There's nothing else to do in the middle of the night. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're not working with anybody. You're by yourself.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you find out if you're a good or bad singer pretty quick. Like, it sounds great.
But are you honest with yourself whether you're a good or bad singer?
I'm a terrible singer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
found out in Tucson at a karaoke bar.
oh, really?
Landon, do me a favor.
Not
will
in work.
Will you make that
No.
fan not come this way?
Oh,
Just
is it
pause
hitting the?
Take it off oscillation.
Yeah.
What episode is this going to be? I don't even know.
5 or 6. I
I
think you're on 5 or 6.
No, we have 5.
What are the girls going to go first?
I don't know.
Well,
That's
if you
the
didn't
thing.
release a couple, then you're on.
This
No.
would be 6.
Yeah, you're on 6.
Okay. Oh, so you've been watching?
Yeah.
Nice, awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Just share it though.
It's in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock. I got nothing to do. So I'm like, screw it. Throw it on. I'll tell you my secrets.
That's
I
awesome.
can either listen to some country music or I'll just throw it on a podcast.
Right.
Right.
I don't care whose podcast it is.
Yeah.
They all make me laugh
Yeah.
at some point in time. I mean, every once in a while I'll turn one off. Like, that's whatever. But sometimes they get going and I'm like, whoever it is, I'm like, this shit's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So we are here, episode 6.
Yes.
Episode 6 with Joey.
Hello?
Joey is a police officer.
Yep.
Here in Arizona.
Yes.
How long you been a police officer for?
18 years.
18 years.
Yep.
So you started right after high school, right?
Yeah, so I got out of high school, did some things for a couple of years, and then went right into the PD 2 years after. Yeah, so I think legitimately like 2 years and a month or 2 months right after high school, jumped into the police academy.
Did you know that you wanted to be a police officer? Or?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I knew pretty young, probably like 10, 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was like, I think that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then it just grew. And then in high school, I knew that's what I wanted to do eventually. Maybe not like that soon,
Yeah.
but I had really nothing else. Well, I had some things going, but I really didn't have anything going at that time. I was like, might as well do it now. I was really big into future.
Uh-huh.
So I got into it for retirement too, some of the
okay.
retirement things. And I knew that I wanted a career that I could look back on, one, be proud of, but two, it also had some sort of some golden carrot at the end where I get a pension and a retirement. I'm taken care of after the fact.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't see that with a lot of professions.
Mhm.
You could be a banker, or you could be, a Walmart regional manager, or some of these big corporations. They take care of while you're there, I feel.
Yeah.
Really good benefit packages and things like that. But I'm talking after. You're like, you're kind of standing there at the crossroads, like in Tom Hanks and Castaway. And you're just like, where do I go now?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
and
kinda
I
what was
guess,
looking for.
Tyler's getting ready to go through that process. And I don't even think that I thought that deep to it, because how hard you and I might have to work to save for that retirement. And you guys have the platform that's going to assist you guys in doing that.
Yeah, and he's getting into it young, as I understand, too. I mean, I was
Yeah.
really young. He's young, too. And if I give one piece of advice to that person, it's go into retirement now, like right away. You're young. I don't want to say you're struggling, but you're young. You want that paycheck. You see the money, and it's good. But if you have the option, just go 10% right in your retirement right away. I was told, like, skip your first raise and just put that in your retirement, and you'll never even know. You'll know, but the quicker you can get to that 15% mark and then go forward from there, is the best you can. Obviously, you still have to maintain some sort of livable wage and house payment, and obviously houses are a lot more expensive now than when I started.
Yeah.
Cars are more expensive. Everything's more expensive. But he also is going to make a lot more money than when I started. So it's kind of relative, percentage wise. So just invest as quick as you can. That way, you have that nest egg at the end.
Right.
And so that wasn't the only reason, obviously the deeper reasons, but that was a consideration of what I was going to do in life, whether that be military or, government or anything else. Like, I've always wanted to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's never too late. I'll probably still be a pilot at some point in my life, but not next week.
That's pretty cool that you thought about that at that age, because I know we are the same age.
We are,
and I didn't think about that shit at all. Like
I
the whole
know.
retirement stuff.
I know you weren't thinking about that stuff.
No, I was not.
I've actually known Shane a long time.
Yeah,
I knew Shane in high school. Shane's always been a good dude, though, man.
Thank you.
Always had that good, strong moral compass, and him and I are very alike. Always joking and having a good time, but we're also able to just kind of buckle down and do our thing.
I remember.
Oh boy, here we go. You never know where this story is going to go.
I remember one of the core memories in like high school is with Joey, because I remember he started this thing where, like, hey, we're gonna start a fight and everybody just come around us and we're gonna do thumb wars. So like him and somebody else were like doing like thumb wars, and we're all like, fight, and we're like running over there, and it's just them, and people are trying to get in there to see the fight.
Yeah. We probably almost started a couple fights.
I'm sure. Yeah.
All the teachers were in it. The teachers would catch on. You idiots.
Yeah.
What do you expect a bunch of 15-year-old bored dudes doing
I know.
at lunchtime?
Yeah, you give us an hour.
Eat our pizza and our egg roll, and then we're like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Did you guys have an open campus, or was it closed campus?
Open.
Yeah.
I think it was like shortly after they closed it.
So
like a couple years.
Yeah, I want to say our sophomore year it was still open, and then I think our junior year they closed it to just juniors and seniors, and then we had a huge class too. So my daughter's going into high school this year, and I think her class is like 400.
I think we had like 900.
Yeah, we had
freshmen.
close to 1,000.
Yeah,
close to 1,000.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Our graduation ceremony took like 3 hours, just reading names.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then like the Mexican names were all long.
Well, there was a lot of them at that school.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, they're like,
there's a lot of everything there.
Adam Jones.
Yeah,
and then they get to the Hispanic name.
Yeah,
they're like Mauricio Gonzalez Ortega Hernandez the third.
Yeah.
And then 4 of them stand up.
Well, then the crowd would go crazy because he's got this huge family.
Yeah, 60 or 70.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why they cut it down to you get 4 tickets.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. I always tell people too, like, I was lucky enough to grow up in an area where it was really diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it translated into just people are people, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter to me.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. But
Yeah.
I grew up in a space that wasn't a thing. It was never. First off, Arizona is a very big melting pot.
Oh, for sure.
It's not like back east. I've been back east a lot of
Yeah.
places, and you do kind of get a little sideways back there. In some
Yeah,
places.
there's a definite cultural divide
Yeah.
when you go back.
And
east.
then and so I grew up with that. So I was lucky enough to have that around. So it was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Does that help you relate to people while you are on the job and stuff?
100%. Well, that, and I grew up in the city that I work for too.
Uh-huh.
So like, I didn't get pulled from, I wasn't in Malibu, California.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden
Don't
I'm working
know
for
the
the
area.
city in Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in that community. So like, I'm part of that.
That's got to feel good though, because you're giving back to the community that you grew up in.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, I haven't run into a lot of people, which means I obviously chose my friends wisely.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just helps understanding the dynamic of that culture, like understanding because you have to understand the people you're working with
Mm-hmm.
and what their social makeup is, what kind of money they're making, economical situations, things like that. All that comes into a factor,
Yeah.
I'd imagine working in Hollywood, it's pretty tough when you're dealing with these high profile people.
Oh, yeah.
You stop Tom Brady on his way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing somebody in Cali. I think the expectation is you make sure he doesn't make it there.
Right.
Try to win the game. But yeah, there's some high profile areas, and I'm glad I don't work in any of those.
Yeah,
So you're under scrutiny as it is.
Is there any like that in Arizona?
Well,
What'd
I
you
would
say?
imagine Scottsdale.
Yeah,
You were in Scottsdale,
Scottsdale
you're
probably
gonna
runs
come
into it
across-
a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the one up there north? Like Paradise Valley?
Paradise Valley.
Oh,
They've
yeah,
got some
PV.
big high-end things. And then, I mean, obviously there's big things going on in the valley throughout.
Yeah.
You've got the west side has State Farm Stadium and things like
Yeah.
that. And they're hosting pretty big things.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that come into those. So UFC's here sometimes.
Yeah.
UFC draws a lot of different type.
Do you get the opportunity to work those events at all?
Not UFC. So I've worked some. I've worked the NCAA March Madness was here. Final Four, we worked that. Worked the both bowl games that are here, the Fiesta Bowl and then Insight Bowl, I think was here.
Inside.com.
We've done Super Bowl a couple times, and then we do dignitary protection. So I've done, I think, President Trump. I think I've done his security two times, and
Nice.
then Mike
Oh, wow.
Mike Pence. That was a trip. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that, but I was like literally like his guy for the day. That was
Really?
I wasn't told that when I woke up.
Did he have flies all over his head?
No, I was like, what the heck? Like,
That's crazy.
it's just one of those things when you're just doing your job, right?
Yeah.
And then you go home, and your wife's like, "Hey, how was your day?" You're like,
Sit down.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
"I just protected the Vice President of the United States of America."
That's
You're
crazy.
like, "What?" Yeah.
How do they pick you? Like, is
They
there-
didn't. I mean, it was just part of the details, just where I ended up. And it could have been any of us, but eight of us were on that team, or 10 of us were on that team.
Mhm.
And then he came into town, we picked him up, and then next we go into this room. Let me back up. We'll just start this as the
Yeah.
story, right?
For sure.
But real quick, back to what we do, like the dignitary protection. So when Kamala Harris was in town, Biden was in town, we've done that. So I've been part of those details in some of those big events. But as far as working every day, no, or there's not like a thing I can sign up and be like, hey, I'm going to go to the UFC and do this detail. Some of them are permanent spots, and then, the city takes the inside. But so yeah, back to the Mike Pence thing, just one of those things in life. So we gear up and we're like, hey, we're going to go do this dignitary protection thing. Not a big deal. Just another day at the office. So we load up, we go down.
And you don't know who it is, right?
Well, I knew who it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we knew we were doing the detail there. So, but it's just another. You don't know what your detail is, I guess. So sometimes you're blocking roads. So you're like in this caravan,
Mhm.
and all you're doing is blocking side roads, giving them a
A clear path.
Listen, you don't want the president or vice president of the United States to stop anywhere
Yeah.
on this route. It's got to be a fluid route, right? So I know it shuts down I-10, and everybody's upset about it. What's going on? Or like, I know when I think Biden was here, they shut down the 303, and everybody's up in arms about it. I'm like, listen, the president of the United States cannot stop en route.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how dangerous that is?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So, so we go to Sky Harbor. It's like this private part of the airport that I've obviously never been to. And he flies in. And then prior to that, we go have a meeting. And so we walk in, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, where is everybody? You know, where's like the Secret Service? And he's got guys with him. You know, there's a TAC team there, but there's just one guy. It's their like team leader. And he's like, hey, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Here's our route. Shows us everything. We're like, okay. It's like, it's being secured and this and that. And I'm like, okay, you know. And time's going on. And then he's like, all right, let's load up. So we're like, okay. So we load up. And then I'm like, is his guys coming with us?
You are his guys.
They're like, no, you are the guy. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean we're the guys?
Really?
And they're like, yeah. So unbeknownst to me, it's just it's like local tactical guys that take those routes. And then he's like, well, we don't know the area. You guys are the professionals in the area. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going into my city, right? Because he's doing his rally in my city. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows our city like we do. And we've already got a stronghold there. And so we're like, all right, so we pick him up. Now he has his own like internal security guys, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a grip of them. But as far as like the next thing I know, we're like, yeah, there he is. Okay, he's coming off Air Force One. He comes down, he gets in his car, and there we go. And then we're in the caravan, and they're like, yeah, just do this. And I'm like, okay. So we're like on the freeway, like doing these maneuvers and stuff. And I've never done that before, you know.
And so there was no prior meeting or training or.
So we have dignitary protection training that we do. So it's not something like. But I was just throwing
specifically for this. It was just like, hey, this is where you're going.
Yeah, there's no ops plan. There was no like textbook for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we
you
showed
came
up
in and didn't know you were doing this.
Not that in depth, no. Because
Yeah.
we do dignitary protection for other people, you know, governors, mayors, and things like that, and it's typically pretty low key. Like I said, you're kind of securing routes, or you're securing locations, or like they come on location and you're just kind of there as a security force or an emergency task force if something does happen. Not like doing the transport for him. So it's kind of a trip. So there we are driving down the freeway in this caravan. I'm like, oh, we're part of this. This is kind of cool. And then we get where we're going, so he can do his rally, and we show up, and it just the way it worked out, I'm like standing basically next to the stage, and I'm like, okay, if something happens, I have to do something.
Yeah. You're the shield.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
like, this is crazy. So thank goodness nothing happened. I just didn't want to be on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Hey, look at this guy.
Well, you look the part, so
yeah. If you just get up there and you just like start pointing and stuff,
yeah,
people always think you know what you're doing. So,
well, that's what I do at work. If I walk really fast, nobody bothers me.
Well, yeah. The other keys, if you just take a clipboard, you just walk around with a clipboard and a pen. Everything's really busy.
Oh yeah,
you get away with a lot of stuff. So that was pretty trippy though. I was like, here we are, you know. And then he gets in, we caravan him out of there. We drive him to Luke, and off he goes. I mean, it was
a
couple hours. We were out.
So. Let me ask you this then. What is your take on the assassination attempt on President Trump then?
It's a good question. Now, I'm not the end-all be-all.
I know, but you have more experience than I do.
Yeah, but my opinion is communication breakdown.
That's
right?
where
and that's where you're going to see most of things go wrong is communication. Either I saw something or you saw something and it didn't get relayed either fast enough, or somebody's scared to say something, like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So they don't say something, and then it happens, and you're like, oh, man, I knew that was going to happen, or something like that.
But I wonder how much of that actually goes on now. Like, everybody's afraid to say something.
Yeah, they don't want to be the person. They don't want to be in trouble, and then they don't want to be, you know, this is an interesting industry to be in. You know, military, PD, fire, there's that fellowship, and everybody makes fun of each other. It's just like the way the outlet. Some people don't like that, though. So me, I've been ball busting for years, like in high school, right? It's a thing for me. Matter of fact, if you don't bust my balls, I'm like, this guy doesn't like me.
Exactly.
Right? You know, and I dish it out really thick, you know.
But can take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I invite it in.
Yeah.
Because it just fuels me to go even more.
Right.
And then eventually they're just like, I'm like the last word guy. It's like, you get going and like you're walking away and you're like, at some point we got to break this
grow
up
up together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Joey was one of the people that I didn't talk shit to because I knew
you were not getting the last word.
Yeah, it was coming. Yeah, and I still hold true to that. But it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
And if I'm not busting your balls, there's a good chance I don't like you.
For sure.
You know? So, So I,
So do you
going
think
back on it? Like I'm looking at the whole picture. Like the guy and I'm going to try to go off what I remember. Like the guy shows up, he's seen with like binoculars and backpack.
Yeah.
And then
like he's scoping out the place.
Yeah.
Or something.
So he's like taking.
Didn't he have like a rangefinder or some shit?
Yeah, some things like that. And from what I understand, like somebody may have seen him on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it just didn't get communicated fast enough. And then also you have to understand, like kind of what I was just saying. So it's multi-agency, right? So I'm assuming, and this is just law enforcement in general. So you've got like a TOC center, like tactical operation center. So you got like tactic. So they're usually on their own team. They're on their own channel, right? Because you're dealing with just
this is law enforcement.
Law enforcement in general. So
Okay.
typically you're going to have like the tactical channel, right? That's where all your TAC guys are in case things happen. And the reason that happens is because logistically, if there's something happening where the TAC guys are involved, like we just don't need all the other stuff in our ear. Like it's just, like I don't need to hear that there's a suspicious person or there's a traffic stop or we're going to investigate this or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
tactics usually on one. Command is usually on their own. And the reason that happens is command is they have oversight of the whole thing. So they're looking at the traffic guys who are blocking traffic. Now they got to listen to TAC channel. They got to listen to sometimes like the motors have their own channel because they're doing traffic stops and whatever in the area. They have like internal security channel. They have an exterior channel, everything. So imagine if one of the external security guys, police, sees something, he puts it out. It's going to get vetted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to go back to command. Command's going to listen to it. If they deem it necessary, they're going to have to put it out to TAC. So now it's getting communicated around and around and around. How long could that take?
Yeah.
It could take a little while, right?
Yeah.
So what I think happened was, and it's my opinion, I don't know this is gospel or anything, but I think what happened was this guy got into position and they were like, I don't want to say downplaying it, but they were just like, it's kind of a normal, this is weird. What's this guy doing on the roof? You know? So let's go investigate that. By the time that they knew what was happening and putting it out, like that just didn't get communicated back fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And all those people, I'll say this too, like where they were like on that, I don't know, barn. What do you want to call that?
Like
structure?
a shed?
Yeah, like an exterior shed, that
Yeah.
structure. I'm going to bet that's like their command center. And let's be honest, they got complacent. Like, this is our command center. There's 50 cops in here. Nobody's going to mess with this.
Yeah.
And so their exterior guy, I think, is the one that saw it, went to go address it. I don't know that he put it out immediately. If he didn't, then that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
You know, and he went up there to communicate it, and by that time it's over. I mean, it's too fast. I mean, these things happen really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Could they have thwarted that a little earlier? Probably. You know, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And then, well, there's also stuff about like they couldn't shoot because the roof was slanted, or they couldn't get somebody over
it was
here
pitched
or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
Is that?
So I've never been a counter marksman or sniper. I've never
Okay.
been in that. I've never held that position.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to comment on that
Gotcha.
as far as if that was doable, not doable. I'm going to assume those guys are professionals like anybody else, and I'm going to take them at their word.
Yeah.
If they're like, I didn't have that shot, I'm going to trust that they probably didn't have it.
I would say, like, you know, from the outside looking in, it's really easy to, you know, pick apart everything that you just see from the media, right? You don't, like, I've never been to that place,
Right.
You know, so it's real easy to be like, oh, well, you know, these guys were on a pitched roof. How come you couldn't put guys on this pitched roof? Like, you don't really know what the whole logistics and the setting of that whole event was like. So
Right. And things in law enforcement typically are super fast.
Mhm.
They're rapidly evolving.
Yeah.
They're violent, or they can get violent really, really quick. And you're asking guys to make these decisions, you know, split-second decisions.
Yeah.
And the only thing that they have is either their experience or training.
Right.
Those are the two things that are going to make you make your decision. Like, if you think all of a sudden these guys in law enforcement are going to like have this epic epiphany of what to do in this circumstance, that's not how it happens. Like,
Yeah.
it's just bang. What do I do? I've seen anything like this before in my life? And what did I do to help solve that problem? And did it work or didn't it work? And you're basing on that. So when you're asking these people who've never been put in a situation to all of a sudden rise to this occasion and come up with this elaborate plan, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's I put it on both, right? So I think agencies got to get their guys trained, but I think guys got to take training serious too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got to be both ways. the agency could put on a really, really good training. But if the officer's there and he's not interested or he's not paying attention, then he didn't get it.
It's like anything else. You're going to get out of it what you put into
Yes,
it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym or boxing gym and you're going 50% and you've never sparred at 100%. I hate to tell you this, but when it goes 100% for the first time, you're going to get your block knocked off. And then you're going to be like, what the hell do I do now? This has never happened. Your brain literally doesn't have an answer for it. You got to make it up on the fly. And then try making it up on the fly when rounds are flying.
Right.
Try to make it up on the fly. When somebody's trying to kill you, try to make a decision.
Yeah.
That is just not something people deal with in the world.
And unfortunately, you guys are put under a microscope when something like that happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
It's sad to say, there's a situation where it's kill or be killed, and then you guys instantly are the bad person.
Yeah, everybody knows how to do our job.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like watching, you like watch football, right? Like, you watch the NFL, right?
Oh, yeah. Big Chargers fan.
Yeah, we know that. It's annoying. But you like watch games and you hear people that's probably never played football be like, oh well, why didn't he just run that way? It's like wide open. It's like, well, you're not in it. Like it's completely different. And I feel like it's the same with like law enforcement. All these cell phones are around. It's like, well, why didn't you shoot him in the leg or use his taser? It's like you're not in that position.
It's easy to judge from the couch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I don't think so. And to go full circle on that, I don't think the general public. So law enforcement in general has done a really poor job of educating the public. Right, we have a huge platform to do it now, but the general public, I don't think understands use of force. I don't think they understand human ability. Like sometimes y'all see a use of force and people be like, why didn't you do this? I'm like, that's so far out the actual ability of a human being that you're asking this person to whatever they're in. You're asking them to do something that's so far outside of what can actually be done. And then I don't think they understand the way that use of force is broken down and how it's looked upon. And one of the things I think that has fallen, and it's kind of double, right? Like the use of body cameras and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like I think body cameras are great. I haven't changed the way I do law enforcement at all, not one bit, right? I haven't changed my personality. I haven't changed the way I talk to people. Do I get in trouble sometimes? Sure, I've been talked to. I haven't done anything illegal or unethical or immoral or anything like that. But like, if I'm on the street and some dude's like, dude, fuck you. I'm like, yeah, fuck you too, bitch.
Right.
Because then guess what? And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But guess what? 10 minutes later, me and that dude are cool.
Right.
We are. It's just the way it is. And guys forget that, or they don't understand that dynamic. Like this is an alpha job, especially in some of the spots. You got to be like, what's the first step in use of force? It's officer presence. And that's gotten me out of way more fights than anything else. Mm-hmm. Way more fights I've won with officer presence than I have with fists. Like 100 times more, right? And so when you get into this use of force spectrum, people don't understand how it's broken down, what the reactions are, how you're judged. And, it's based on the training, the experience of the officer. 2, how long has that officer been around? Because if you've been on the job for 10 years and you're making a decision like a 2-year officer, it's a problem, right? So when they go to break it down, the other thing that you don't understand is like hindsight 2020, right? So you have the luxury of sitting and watching this happen and pausing it and rewinding it. That's not how. Yeah,
a lot of it.
That's in hindsight, man.
Yeah.
And if you go back and you ask an officer, I would say 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 times, you ask an officer to be honest, they're like, yeah, I would probably do this now or that now. But when are they going to do that? The next time. Right. They learn from it, right? So, if you've got the officer and he's doing the same thing over and over again, that's a problem.
How often do you guys train?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question because everybody gets a little different. Like I get to train probably the most.
Okay, so let's talk about basic officer out there in the police.
Not enough. Not enough. Probably, again.
Is that on the department or is that on the officer?
That's what I say. Again, it's probably both. It's probably both. So you should be going out and finding your own trainings, and then going to those trainings, however they apply to what your position is.
So internally.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the department should be putting out training. The department does a good job. They put out a lot of training. They do. Again, what's the buy-in of that officer? Because you go to taser training every year, right? You got to
Mhm.
recertify on your taser. It's kind of, once you've been there, you've kind of done it. It's kind of just like mundane, I guess, if you
Yeah.
will. But you do have to take it, serious. You more so like the case law stuff is big. Like what's happening not only in your region but other regions.
Mhm.
So you gotta be up on your case law. Like one of the biggest things that came out that changed the way we did business. I don't know how long ago it was. I'd be misquoting if I did that, but there was a case where, law enforcement changes a ton, right? I'm about to go back and be like, yeah, I used to do this, which was crazy at the time. It was cool, but now you look back and you're like, okay, that kind of makes sense. So there's a capital case that came out where basically I arrest you,
Mhm.
take you into custody for whatever it is. You're
Mhm.
driving down the road, I stop you, you got a warrant. I search your car. Like that was normal. It's incident to an arrest. But now they're saying, hey, you can't search that car unless you got probable cause to believe there's evidence in that car of that crime, right? So you do a shoplifting, it's easy. You just shoplift, there's merchandise in the car. Now I have probable cause to search that car because I believe there's evidence in the car.
Mhm.
But if you were DUI, what evidence is in the car?
Yeah. Unless you have an open container.
Open containers, things like that. Always can be circumstantial.
Does,
but
does the for shoplifting, does that call have to come in as a shoplifting call in order for you to assume that it's a shoplifter, or
it will. It
you know what I'm
normally would
saying?
be.
Like you
Yeah.
can't just pull somebody over for
And assume
speeding
that they're
and be like, oh, you got groceries, you're shoplifting.
Yeah, no, it can definitely turn into that. It can
Can it?
turn into that, yeah. For instance, you stop a car and he's got all these electronics in the back, and you're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm a computer scientist." "Okay, that makes sense." You stop a guy, he's got all these computers in the back. "What do you do for work?" "I don't work." "Where are you going?" "My friend's house." "Okay." 10 minutes later, you're like, "Hey, so where were you going?" I was going home."
Do
And,
they?
the stories are changing, right?
Yeah.
So now you're kind of like, I don't know about that. So now I'm asking for that consent kind of makes sense now, right? And he's like, yeah, you could search the car. I got nothing to hide, because he doesn't realize you're going to run the serial number of one of those
Right.
laptops and find out it was stolen and taken in a burglary, and now you own the car now,
Yeah.
and everything else. So those obviously can turn into things, yeah.
Is that part of training, is like asking specific questions to get the truth, or
I would say it's more
is
experience. Yeah, you just you'll know. Like you get done, you're like, oh man,
there's a
that,
sixth
I
sense
knew
there.
there's something in there, but I don't know what I didn't. And then you get your trainer to be like, yeah, so this is maybe how you could approach it next time, doing this or doing that. You got to get real crafty. You
Yeah.
really do. And it's not, everybody's like, oh, you're doing this or that to the criminals. I'm like, oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm out savvying the criminals who out savvied you to commit their crime.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to get on their level too.
Not real sensitive to
Yeah.
that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
What's sometimes frustrating is like how people think that cops are psychologists, or they expect them to be
Everything.
psychologists.
It's supposed to be everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So when I first got hired, mental health was not a thing. It was a thing, but we didn't deal with it.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Like,
Wasn't
we
talked about.
We didn't go. It's there. We dealt with it,
Yeah, in your own way,
but
probably.
we weren't the we weren't the experts in it.
Right.
We're still not experts, but we're a lot better than we were. But like I would go to a mental health call and like kind of like put the Band-Aid on it, because I'm a criminal guy, right? I'm dealing with a criminal, so this is civil or it's not criminal. Like my authority is kind of gone. I don't have much authority over somebody that's not criminal in nature, right?
Mhm.
So we would go to these calls. It was super, super difficult to deal with these mental health patients, because I'm not a doctor. I don't know what to do. I don't know what you're experiencing, and wasn't trained on that. And so now it's like, hey, my son is having a bipolar, or schizophrenic freak
Episode.
out, and you got to come deal with this. And you're like, okay, well, we're only equipped to deal with so much, right? And these people are very volatile. They'll go up and down really, really fast.
Mhm.
And if an officer sees that as a threat, well, guess what he's going to do? What does his training tell him to do?
Take him down.
Yeah, deal with it like he's a criminal. And he's not a criminal, but that's where your mind's going to go, because that's what we deal with 99% of the time. So now we pick, we do petitions, we get these people picked up, we take them to mental health. We're a lot more involved. And I got to tell you, man, the mental health in Arizona, it isn't great, but it's there. It's good. And they help us out tremendously. They have like a no wrong door policy. You can show up at any of these mental health facilities with anybody that wants to go voluntarily. They're not going to tell you no. They're going to get them right in.
Oh, that's good.
It's gotten a lot better.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Before, you'd have somebody like in the early 2000s, you'd have somebody having this mental breakdown. I don't know where to take them.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do I take this guy? What do I do? Take him to the mental hospital. Where's that at? I don't know where that's at.
Yeah.
Just take him to the actual hospital
Right.
and throw it in their lap. And so it was like this pass the buck kind of thing. So Arizona's gotten a lot more into the mental health. Like they've dove in and they've realized
that's cool.
like we needed help, and it's been.
Do you feel like it helps you guys?
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
It's like, what about for you guys? Because let's be honest,
mental health
like,
for us.
yeah, like
Yeah,
This
there's
is-
a huge support system.
yeah,
yeah.
'cause I would
Especially if
imagine you
it.
guys need it
Yeah,
as much or more
yeah,
because of what you guys see in the field.
yeah. It affects everybody different.
Mhm.
Luckily, I haven't had anything crazy where I'm like, oh man, like this. I've never really gone home and really held on anything emotionally, but I can only imagine what it feels like when you do.
Yeah.
Luckily, thank goodness I haven't been put in some positions like that.
Yeah.
That's not to say that others haven't. In everybody's threshold's a little bit different.
Yeah.
My mindset on almost everything, good, bad, or indifferent, is that the bad guy always has a vote. Always. They always have a vote in what happens to them. I have never, ever had anybody say, I'm going to surrender, and they get hurt. Like
Yeah,
they come
that
out.
makes-
It's
that
never
makes sense.
happened. They're like,
Yeah.
all right, I want to give up. Okay, come on out.
Yeah.
Come out, their hands up. Now, when I say hurt, I mean like actually physically. They might get, smacked or taken down pretty hard because of whatever crap. Sorry, if you're a homicide suspect,
Yeah.
you're not going to get taken down gently.
We know
Yeah.
you have weapons in the house.
You're
or
going to get
whatever.
taken
Yeah.
down pretty hard. You're going to get maybe some scrapes and some bruises. But I'm talking, we've never, used force like
Excessively.
sunbag or beanbag or launcher or Arwen rounds or obviously deadly force.
Waterboarding.
It's never, I mean, never waterboarded anybody. You better confess.
That would be Shane. I'm
So,
just
like,
gonna waterboard these guys into
so when they're
submission.
like, yeah, I give
You
up.
weren't speeding, motherfucker.
Yeah, they're like, we give up. Okay, come on out. But if you vote the other way, like you're not going to give up, dude. I'm sorry, I don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And you
You
have to
know?
protect yourself
Yeah. So you're like,
and the community.
all I can tell you is that if you're not going to surrender, if you're going to stay where you are, something's happening to you. And what that is I don't know, because
Yeah.
we're always reactionary, always.
Yeah.
Like 99% of my job is reaction to bad guy. I say bad guy, that's just a term, but
Yeah.
not everybody gets arrested for bad guy. I probably shouldn't say that, but the perpetrator, whoever it is or whatever it be at that time, like if you remain where you are, all I can tell you is that something is going to happen that's probably going to suck. You're going
Yeah.
to be uncomfortable. It could be gas, it could be a dog, it could be a slew of things, whatever it be. We shut your power off in the summer, get real hot inside.
We're gonna
Like, it's going to
we're
get
gonna
uncomfortable.
sweat you out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a tactic.
Yeah.
It's a tactic.
When you first started, did they have cell phones? Like, where was that?
The people recording cops.
No.
And stuff.
No.
Mhm. That became, it's funny you say that. It doesn't bother me anymore. It's never really bothered me. I think what happens is cops think you're like invading the privacy of the person or them. I think that's kind of where they get hung up on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I remember the first time I ever saw that, where I was at, there was a kind of a family fight, and we got on scene. And there's probably like eight uncles and dads and sons and nephews all fighting, and so we got it broken up. And it wasn't anything huge, but there was a person standing on this white fence with their phone. And I remember one of the officers was like, "Hey, they're recording," and another officer walked over and was like, "Smack!" and like
shit.
smacks the cell phone off, and it was like this big thing. But we didn't know how to react. We'd never seen that
Right.
before,
Yeah.
so we don't know how to react. And then obviously you fast forward, 15 years, and everybody records us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I've got a recording device on me now.
Yeah.
That's recording literally everything I do. But yeah, I wasn't. I think the big thing for me and a lot for officers is you can come record us all you want. You just give us the space, because I don't think people understand. Like I get it. Like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not. Yeah, there's been a couple times where the guy's like, I'm cool, and the next thing you know, what are we doing? We're on the ground fighting.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just one of those things that happens. So you're always got your guard up against these folk. And I'm sure their intentions are fine. They want to, they got YouTube channels. They want content.
Right.
Listen, Cops was on air for 30 years for a reason, because it's freaking cool, right?
Dude, I never thought about that. Yeah.
People like seeing police
Yeah.
work. They
Right.
do. They like it.
Oh, yeah.
And what more raw can you get than listen? Cops is edited, right? They got editors. They're like putting stuff on there. This is going to be unedited YouTube material.
Yeah.
And people thrive on it. And I don't blame them. It gets really interesting sometimes. And everybody's waiting for the cop to do the bad thing,
Right.
Right? Because
Right,
bad
right.
sells.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you guys get a lot of training from some of these videos? Well, like say if
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Like the whole George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
Was that a big deal for you guys, or not like a big deal, but
There's a lot of stuff that came out of the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
That was kind of one of those just big capital cases where you're like, man, they could have just done a lot different stuff and nothing would have happened. I think they made it into a lot bigger deal than it probably needed to be.
when you say they, you talk about
Uh,
like media and all that,
yeah,
or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Media. I would say media is one of like the worst. I'd rather listen to like some guy on YouTube over the media.
Oh,
Really?
100%.
Yeah, I
You know, fear sells.
I
you
saw
know, being in trouble sells. Everybody wants to see everybody in trouble.
Yeah.
Like when's the last time you saw they
and they want to spin the story.
or they do the feel good story, and it's like 10 seconds. Like, oh, look at what this officer did. I just
Yeah.
watched a story where an officer, and I've done it. I've done it without recognition. I don't care. I don't want the recognition. But we had a guy specifically I can remember. He was a Taco Bell employee. It was like 1 a.m, and he's on his way. He stops at a crosswalk. Some guy walks up, stabs him, and steals his bike.
Oh
Right.
shit!
And so we get him the medical and everything else. His bike got stolen. Well, we do follow up at the house. Well, you would think he was going to the Taco Bell like right there. No, the Taco Bell he worked at was like 6 miles, 7 miles down the road. He
Damn.
probably passed 4 Taco Bells on the way to his Taco Bell, right? And so the whole squad was like, dude, let's go get this guy a bike.
Yeah.
So we went and bought him a brand new bike, a bike light, a helmet.
That's awesome.
You know, and all this stuff. We gave it to him. And you don't hear stuff like that.
No.
And that happens every day. I'm telling you, it
bet.
happens every day.
Yeah.
And I think I just saw a story where like the officer pulled in. God, where was it? It was in Cali. Oh, it was a car seat. It was a car seat. So this officer stops this guy. His daughter doesn't have a car seat. And he's like, why isn't your daughter in a car seat? He's like, I can't afford it, man. It's tough times. He's like, all right, follow me to Walmart. So they go to Walmart. He outfits him with his daughter with this car seat. They go buy it. And then it's funny because the citizen, he's like, he gets it strapped in. He's like, oh, this is great. He turns around and it's like the officer he like vanished into thin air, you know? And
Yeah.
he's like, I wanted to say thank you. Well, that's the thing. That officer didn't want to be told thank you. He's just doing it because he wants to do it.
Yeah.
You hear those stories all the time, but they're like this big.
Yeah,
And then when an officer does something bad, you hear about it all week
Everywhere.
long. 30-minute segments. Look what this officer did. And whether they did something wrong, listen, we all make mistakes, right? Hopefully it's not bad. It doesn't cost, hopefully nobody loses their life over a bad
Right.
mistake. Those are bad, right? We don't ever want that to happen. But they're going to make mistakes. Officers are going to make mistakes. They are people, If you've got an officer that's never been in a situation before and you're asking him to make this crazy good decision, like, sorry, man, it's just not going to happen. But the support, is good until it's not. So you get a lot of the political pressure, and as soon as they put politics in police, it ruined the profession. It really did. Yeah, there's just really no place for politics in it.
yeah. I saw on the news, one of the news anchor guys or journalists or whatever, they put him through, and this was here in Phoenix. They put him through like a scenario. He had like a fake gun.
Jared Maupin,
You know what I'm talking about?
Reverend Maupin, yeah,
Yeah.
went out with county,
Yeah.
shot the guy because he was in my zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was, the guy wasn't armed or nothing.
Funny story about that. So that guy does that whole thing, right? He's like, oh yeah, I realized this, that, and the other, and the next day he's out there, just marching.
Oh, really?
The next day, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's out there marching, taking his, and then
That's so-
as I understand, this is rumor, but as I understand, like they kind of drew a line at the freeway. This guy's marching with his people, and totally respect it, right? I don't respect shutting down roadways and getting in
right.
motorist way. I
Yeah.
don't support that. I support you on the sidewalk doing whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Don't block the roadway. It's crazy, right? But they're doing their thing. They're marching. They actually will. If you call, right? If you were like, hey, we want to march, they'll actually close down, make a route for you. On a day.
Really?
Yeah. Like they're not going to do it on a Tuesday in downtown when
Right.
the city of Phoenix is thriving on workday.
Yeah.
But Friday after everybody's gone home, they'll
work with you.
They'll absolutely work with
Yeah.
you. Yeah. On
That's
on
interesting.
free what do you want to call it? Free press areas and certain spots where you can do your thing. So anyway, going back to what I was saying was like, so they're marching and they're like, we're gonna go to the freeway. And the police department had been like, you're not getting on the freeway. That's our line. Our line in the sand is the freeway. You're not coming up this freeway. You're not shutting down the I-10. So they're going there. They turn. They go on the freeway. The forces clash, right? That guy's nowhere to be found.
Gone.
Like he marched his people in there and then left.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's 100% true, but that is
Allegedly, right?
totally something I'd be
Allegedly.
like, yeah, that probably happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did that or not, but that's what I heard.
I mean, I wouldn't put it I don't know the guy,
Yeah.
but for what he,
Yeah.
I don't know,
And-
whatever.
and they set him up. Good on him for going through it, for one. Right? I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, good on you for trying. And again, you put him in a situation where he doesn't know what to do. So you can't judge him either.
Right.
So he's like, oh, I shot this guy because of XYZ. And you're like, okay, that's why we have the training and things. But understand that that's what happens. Like, that's how fast it can happen.
Yeah, and that's
So-
not even like it wasn't even real,
No, it's all
right?
staged.
It's all staged.
Yeah, he's got two guys just shoving, fighting. And he's up there like, hey, sir,
Yeah.
break up. Well, now what do you do when they don't break up? All right, you're going to get in the middle of them, or you're
Yeah.
going to take the loser. You're going to take the winner. What are you going to do here?
Start betting.
And it's one of those things. He'd never been put in that position, right? So he's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, yeah, that's how cops feel.
Right.
right.
That's how
You
cops
don't know
feel.
until you've been through it.
Yeah, you show up, even, you're in year 3, 4. You show up to something, you're like, I've never seen this before. I don't know what to do. You're just going to try to make the best decision you can at that moment and live
Yeah.
with it. And unfortunately, sometimes that's a really bad decision and you're fired. Or worse, you go to jail and you lose everything, which is crazy that you got to gamble like that. Or 2, or 4, you make a good decision and nobody talks about it.
Yeah,
There's
You
and then-
hope that that's the
yeah,
case, right?
and then and you get that experience, and then hopefully, like, something happens again, and you show up, and there's somebody new there. You're like, whoa, check this out! I can solve this problem. And, one of the most powerful things in law enforcement is collective thinking, critical thinking, collective thinking, and it's so simple sometimes. And we do it, but it's so simple. You're trying to solve this labyrinth problem, and then somebody's like, "What about that window?"
It's perspective, right?
And you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even see that window."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because people get so tunnel vision
vision,
into their idea.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, like, you're not, like, I think we mentioned it earlier, like human performance, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't get outside human performance. We're not robots.
Right.
So as many things as I've done and seen and been a part of, I still get tunnel vision. I still get auditory exclusion. I still get adrenaline dumps, hyper focused. And sometimes it takes that 30,000 foot overview, like we call it, to kind of reel you back. Like, I see something, I'm like, let's push it. And they're like, we can't, because look over there. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see that thing.
Yeah.
And it's just because you don't see it at the moment. So a lot of that factors in too. You're like, what did the officer actually know when they made their decision? So it's kind of
So like, not only do you guys have training in physical stuff, but you guys have training in like that mental part of like thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would say you do that every night.
Yeah.
You should be doing that every night. So you're driving around and you go to a call, you deal with the call, and then after the call, you should be going like, well, what if this happened? What if that happened? And you are actually building a neural pathway in your mind of a decision that could have been made. It had this gone awry, had this gone crazy, So I feel like you're doing that all the time. And then you're also running scenarios like as you're going there. So I would say one of my best traits in this job, I think I do it pretty well, is just thinking ahead.
Mhm.
And I found myself doing it yesterday, just talking out loud with some of these newer guys on our TAC team. I was like, dude, try to get ahead of the curve. Try to already have a decision made before it's made. And they're kind of like, well, I know what you mean, but what do you mean? I'm like, well, think about it. If you do like a high risk traffic stop, right? So let's say you just got a criminal who just did an armed robbery. You already know he's armed. You go to stop him. What's going to happen? He's going to do a couple things, right? You got to plan on both. He can stop. He can run, right? He can pull over, get you to stop, and then take off again. So you're trying to think of like all these things that can happen. And then I rattled off like 15 things. I'm like, so let's just say it's 2 people. They did an armed robbery. You stop them and they stop. They can get out and you can get into shooting, right? The passenger can stay in. The driver can get out and run. The driver can stay. The passenger can run. The passenger could run. The driver could get out and start shooting. Both of them can get out and start shooting. Both of them can get out and run. The passenger could get out and the driver could take off, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
They could stop, pretend they're giving up, and then take off again. I think I just mentioned that one. But what if they switch seats and then they take off? Like, those are all that's information you got to take out. But all these things, right? And you got to be thinking all ahead of that. And that's just one thing. It's just like one scenario, one little instance in law enforcement. Like,
and that's just going up to the car.
Yeah.
You guys got to
That's
be
not even-
exhausted by the end of the day.
And so, like, I told them we were doing hostage rescue training the other day, and I'm like, hey, so before we do this, what information do we have? How many hostage takers do we have? How many hostages do we have? How big is the structure? Do we know where they are? Do we have robots with eyes on them? Do we know what they're wearing? So these are all these things that they're like, oh yeah, because it changes. like the tactics on a known hostage location is completely different than an unknown hostage location. And then I'm like, okay. They're like, okay, we're ready. I'm like, okay, so we're going. Yeah, we're going. All right, so we know where the hostage is. We know where the hostage taker is. Yeah, we know there's 2 of them. Yeah. Okay, you open this door and there's a person standing there. Now what? Because that just threw off your whole OODA loop. Your whole decision-making process is now changing because you were like, I'm going right to this room.
It's assumptive.
You step in and now there's somebody in the kitchen. Now what? You got to think about that. So that your decision's already made. You're like, all right, if somebody's in the kitchen, then I'm going to address them and I'll let the rest of the team go by. So when it happens, you're not like, what do I do? You've already made the decision, right? So I always try to harp on that with young cops and cops coming up. I'm like, try to think of as many possibilities as what can happen. And then that way, if it happens, you're like, I kind of already made that decision. You're kind of already ahead of the power curve. I think that's one of the most powerful tools in law enforcement. I think I do it really, really well. I think it comes from the canine side as well. I get to do a lot of training with canine. We train every week. And then obviously on the SWAT side, it helped big time too. But when I go to these calls, these critical calls, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, what's this guy going to do? Here's all his options. And then he'll do the one option I didn't think of. And I'm like, I don't have an answer for that right this second. What do I do?
Do you just tell him, hey, hold on.
Yeah,
let me think about this.
I'm like the quarterback, dude.
Yeah.
It's not in the playbook.
I need a new hard band.
Coach, can I get one of the signs? I don't know what to do. I don't know what coverage this is.
Yeah.
But I think what you said, like, goes back to what I was telling Tyler the other day, is like you guys using your mind before your physical is like key to this.
Huge mental game.
Because like when he first started going through this, he's like, oh my God, everything in this has got to be like, I have to be the aggressor and I have to be physical. I said, you got to think.
Yeah.
Like you got to use your mind before you use your body.
100%.
And to hear you say that, and somebody that's been doing it for damn near 20 years, just reinforces like, I mean, I have the utmost respect for what you guys do. Right.
Thank
like
you. Yeah,
I
appreciate that.
Personally, I have never done it. I don't know that I could do it. But the control that you guys show, but also the fact that you guys openly are talking about thinking through the process, right? Is understanding what am I walking into? What are the potential situations I'm going to put myself in? And how am I going to work through this?
Yeah.
I think is key to, one, the fact that you're doing this for almost 20 years and you're sitting here talking to us about this.
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And then I throw in the monkey wrench, right? Now you get a call. I'll give you a call the other night I took. But now I take time away from you. Now you don't have that time. What are you resorting in? Or what do you resort to? It's training experience. It's all you got. So you're hoping that this problem you've seen before, so you can hopefully solve it the way you solved it last time. But yeah, we're sitting at a church after some training. This just happened like 2 weeks ago. Sitting at a church training, and it's July, so there's always fireworks, right? So we're sitting there, and it's probably right around midnight, and it's like you hear these 3 shots. Pow, pow, pow. I'm like, I look at my buddy. I'm like, those aren't shots, man.
Fireworks.
Those aren't fireworks. He's like, really? And then next thing you know, pop, pop, pop. There's return fire from another gun, and then you hear the first gun go off back. So there's like 3 rounds fired, and then there's like 8 or 9 return fire, and then there's like 4 or 5 more return fire from that. And I'm like, yep, there's a rolling gunfight right here, like coming our way. Is what it sounds like. So I'm sitting on the road.
When you say rolling, you're talking about like
I think it's like
in
a road
car?
rage. Yeah, it sounds like a road rage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me. So because it sounded like it was farther away and closing
Getting
in.
closer.
And it was definitely 2 different volleys of 2 different firearms. They were definitely 2 different cars. So I put it out on the radio. I'm like, hey, this is what's happening. Send some units. We're coming into that. So I'm getting ready to turn the corner, and then that's it, man. Like what's in front of you is what's in front of you. What am I going to do? I didn't have time. I didn't have time to think about anything other than there's 2 cars. Like that's what I think. I'm going to come around the corner. I'm coming out of a parking lot onto the main roadway, and I'm going to see 2 cars like bashing each other,
like
or
Mario.
one's going to be wiped out, and the other one, there's going to be people shooting at each other.
It's like Mario Kart.
Yeah, and it's going to be they're trying to pop each other's balloons, you know. And I'm like,
Turtles are flying.
Yeah. And again,
Banana peels.
You know, they don't expect us to be there, like
Right.
coming around the corner. So now I come around the corner, I'm holding a rifle, you're holding a gun, and I'm like, hey, drop it. Well, guess what? That person doesn't hear. Probably doesn't hear me.
Yeah.
You know, because
They're
he's
pissed off.
Yeah,
And
they have auditory exclusion. They have all these things. But if you're holding a gun and you're pointing at somebody, unfortunately, you're going to probably get shot. What if that guy was defending himself?
Oh.
Yeah. What if
Yeah.
you shot the wrong person?
Yeah, you got to live with that. You know what I'm saying? Those are the tough ones.
Yeah. I didn't.
But nobody
think about
trains you for that.
that. No.
Right.
So, and that happened to me at a there was a bar.
Well, hold on. What
About a month ago. What's
what
that?
happened to that situation?
So we rolled on the corner. You could hear the cars. A couple callers called in. We ended up finding the shell casings and things like that, but nobody called in. Nobody went to the hospital. We didn't get any calls from the hospital. It was just kind of one of those. We have the casings.
Oh,
kind of things,
gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, so somebody didn't come around with you right there,
What do you mean?
or was that just an example?
So when I went around. That's a real call. I went around the corner to find them and never. They weren't on the roadway.
Oh,
Not on
gotcha.
that road. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Come around the corner is nothing.
There was nothing.
So I'm all
there.
hyped up on Mountain Dew, and there's really there's no work to be done. And then so I get up to the next street, and I'm like looking around, like where's this gunfight going on, you know?
Yeah.
And then a couple of people called in and said that they thought they split. One car went south, one car went north. So we're thinking there's going to be shot up cars. So we search the area for shot up cars. We're looking for casings. We call the hospital, like, hey, if you get anybody coming in with
Gunshot wounds.
or there's a gunshot wound, and they're like, oh yeah, I just accidentally did this. Give us a call. Like,
Yeah.
we just probably had a shooting here. But that's all that came out of that. But back to what I was saying. So we get a call at a bar, local bar, and there's a guy upset. This is how fast it happens. There's a guy upset in the bar yelling at the manager. I'm like, okay, I'll go to that. So I start going to that because I'm the K9 unit. So all I do is go to priority calls. So I don't go to anything that's in progress is what I'm going to. Like, I don't show up to take the walkout at Denny's that happened 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
I don't take like a stolen car that happened yesterday. I will take those if I need to, but for the most part, I'm just going to active calls. So I hear this call come out, and I'm like, I'm kind of bored. I guess I'll go to that. So I literally pull out of the parking lot that I'm chilling in, and I start going that way. And about 10 seconds later, the hot tone comes out. I'm like, oh, geez. Is that the same call or is that a new call? So I'm going to this call. That could be another call. So they upgrade it.
What's a hot tone?
It's like an emergency tone. Like, usually they come out on active stuff like robberies and shootings and stabbings and things like that. So the hot tone comes out. Gets this long, beep, and then you're like, oh, what's that?
Hey.
So the hot tone comes out, and then they upgrade it. They're like, hey, this guy's going out to his car, says he's going to grab a gun, things like that. So I'm like, oh crap. So I look at the screen. We have a map where you can see where everybody's at. I'm the only one. Like, there's nobody even close.
Damn.
So I'm like, all right, let me drive like a little bit slower, and I'll try to let a couple of my guys catch up so I don't have to go there alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving. I'm like coming off the freeway. It's like a mile off the freeway, so I'm pretty close. And I'm looking at the map, and I see some guys moving. I'm like, okay, these guys are coming. Cool. And I'm trying to kind of get there at the same time.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, they're like, hey, he's actively shooting. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Like, it's me now.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm showing up. This is go time. Like, it is what it is. And I'm just going to train. I'm going to trust my ability with a rifle and my tactics versus some Joe citizen. And, if he gets the lucky bullet, he gets the lucky bullet. But it is what it is. So I go rolling in there, and I'm like, get out of my car. And they're like, right as I'm getting on scene, they're like, hey, they're reporting that the guy left. He's wearing this hat. Here's what he's wearing. This is what he's driving. And he left. We got one patron shot inside the bar. And I'm like, okay. Well, now I kind of switch modes, right?
Yeah.
Because this is usually good info. It's not usually bad. Like, no citizen's usually calling in giving us bad info. It's just not really a thing that happens. It happens every once in a while. But so I'm like, all right. So I shift. I'm like, okay, I'm going to medical mode. So I get out of my car, I grab my medical bag, and now I can kind of hear the sirens coming. So I'm like, all right, here the boys are coming.
Yeah.
You hear my friends? They're on their way. So I get out, and I start walking up there with my medical bag. And, I'll admit, I let my guard down a little bit because I'm thinking I'm going to go in there and tourniquet a leg or patch a leg or do something like that. And I roll up, and I see two guys with guns, like, pointed at a car. I'm like, oh, shit. So drop the bag, draw down, and they're lucky it was me. I'll be honest with you. Because I'm like, hey, dude, like, he's kind of in one of those stances where he's like, I'm like, what is this guy doing? Because he's not, like, shooting currently, and he's just kind of standing in, like, this weird stance.
Yeah.
And it's him on there's a car. So he's kind of on I'm kind of approaching from the rear driver area. He's standing on like the rear passenger side. And then there's another guy standing on like the passenger side up by like the front corner panel by the windshield. And they both have guns. So I draw. I'm like, hey man, back up. And he's like, okay. He starts backing up. I'm like, I got immediate compliance. Right. I'm like, put the gun down, drop it. I'm like, I'm here now. Well, what if he doesn't?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Long story short, the guy that was shooting into the bar was shot by those guys. Right?
Yeah.
So it's Arizona.
Yeah.
It's a right to carry state. they did what they were supposed to do as citizens, and they shot this guy who was, in my opinion, an active shooter at that time. He had shot somebody in the bar already. He was indiscriminately shooting through the front door of the bar, and these two guys happened to be there and probably saved a bunch of lives. And that story can go a lot different, you know?
Yeah. And
luckily they backed up, they listened, they put their guns down. We end up pulling the guy out. We render medical aid to that guy. He unfortunately passes away. And they have another scene inside. They got to go inside and render aid in there. We got to render aid out here. Now we got to separate these guys. There's a bunch of work to be done now.
Yeah.
But that could end different.
You know this situation very well.
You get, you probably know that situation.
Huh?
You know this situation very well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you probably know. Yeah. It's a situation that I think a lot of people actually, I got texts from quite a few people about that.
Yeah.
So I was actually first on scene for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably talk about that
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
But
But luckily I didn't,
the guys
I didn't
that,
just pipe that guy, dude.
Yeah.
Like if things happen, but if I show up and that guy's actively shooting, what's the information I got? Or say dispatch.
that he's the aggressor.
Say dispatch doesn't say the guy left.
yeah.
And I show up and I see a guy actively shooting. What am I going to think? And I don't think people realize that. We don't get all the information
Yeah.
right at the beginning. We don't,
Well,
man.
like the whole Trump thing, the whole communication, right?
Yeah.
Somebody has to call in to go to dispatch, to go to you. I mean,
and think about all the things that I just said that factored into that. I
Yeah.
slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't driving with my hair on fire. So let's say I do drive really, really fast. I get there too fast.
And they're
It's like-
actively shooting.
And if you ever seen, there's a video, there's like, if you're one step too, I think it's like an Al Pacino quote from Any Given Sunday. He's like, if you step too fast, you're screwed. If you're too slow, 1 second too slow, life's a game of inches and things like that. There's like a big montage of that he says in the locker room at the halftime when they're down. And I'm thinking that, if I get there, 2 minutes, 30 seconds earlier, dispatch never puts out that guy left, and I show up and those guys are doing what they were lawfully supposed to do, and they're shooting that guy, and I get out from 30 yards away with a rifle, dot that guy in the face,
Yeah.
put him down. And I'm like, hey, shooter's down. I get up there and I'm like, wait a minute, there's another guy down over here. What happened to this guy?
yeah.
And they're like, well, that's the guy that was shooting into the bar. And I'm like, well, what about this guy?
It's
no,
like-
that guy was defending the bar. That's the shit that's tough to do.
It's like you guys are
That's
playing.
the one that would probably put me down, put me into like that spiral of like, oh my god, dude, I
Yeah.
can't live with I just ended that guy's life. I took him from his family, his
and
kids,
he was doing the right thing.
and he was doing the right thing, dude. And I just didn't have the info.
You're
Not to say that I did the wrong thing,
yeah.
Right.
but now you
You did what you thought you needed to
Yep.
do with the information
and now
that
you
you
get
had.
you get to live with that.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that's heavy in the law enforcement community that people don't understand. Like you think you're doing the right thing, and then you find out you made a not a bad decision, but you made a decision based on the information that you had, and then you're judged on you shot an innocent person. And you're like, dude,
Yeah.
that's not what I did, man.
Yeah.
That's not what I did. But they don't want to hear that.
It's like you're playing a really fast, dangerous game of Clue.
Yeah, it
You know what I
is,
mean?
dude.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said that, but you're right.
Yeah.
It is. It's perspective too, man. Like once you hear it, it's also different, right? Because I've known Shane for a long time, and Shane and I've never really talked about. We talk about football and sports, and we talk shit to each other on a which I take great pride in doing. But we talk shit in like a Facebook group,
Right.
and I'm always putting dudes on blast,
Oh,
and so that's how he knows me, right? But he doesn't know like the guy
This side of you.
yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
know this side of me. And, I think when it comes from somebody you're like, oh, man, like, Jesus. And we make those decisions nightly, weekly, daily, couple
Yeah,
times
I
in
have
day.
a whole different
It will. It'll
view
change your
of
mind.
this.
Yeah, it'll change your mind real quick.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember like the whole George Floyd thing going on, and
Sure.
you did a really good job in articulating like your side of a lot of things because
Right.
like on Facebook, people,
Oh yeah.
it's armchair quarterbacking. You know, what I mean,
Yeah. I
but
would have done this.
yeah, but
Would you have?
yeah,
Right.
I mean, like one of the things that I learned just from reading you in these debates and everything is, and that I never put into perspective is, you get one bad contact with the police officer, but there's like 5,000 other that day, that nobody hears about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because just that whole narrative of like, black people are gonna get, if you get pulled over, you're probably 90% chance of getting shot if you're black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's not.
And I would go, it's funny you say that. I go the other way. I go completely the other way. I am so sensitive to that community because I don't want to be involved in that. Like when I stop people, I work in a predominantly Hispanic area, and when I stop them, they're not. You do get the racial thing every once in a while. It's not that big of a deal here. I could assume it's like that other places. Every once in a while, you get the whole, oh, you're racist. I'm like, I couldn't be further from racist as could be.
Right.
But like, dude, I'm hyper focused on not being racist, like on giving you that fair handshake, like treating everybody the same.
Yeah.
Because no officer wakes up in the middle, in the morning to go to their shift and be like, all right,
how racist can I be?
yeah, let's do some racist shit today.
I'm gonna pick on this group today.
It's actually, I think, kind
Where's
of
my hood at?
where we are. I think it's opposite. We're more sensitive to trying to treat them fairly and equal. And I get it, man. From theirs, I always try to put myself in their shoes too. And really be like, yeah, I know that's how you feel, man. Is there anything I can do to make you not feel that way? That's one of the bigger lines that I do use. Like, is there anything? I'm not stepping out of this car. Is there anything I can do to make you step out of the car? Is there anything I can do? Like, can I back up? Can I not do this? Can I not do that? Within reason.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go sit back in my car while you get out of your car. But I always ask for, like, what can I do to gain your voluntary compliance? Because if not, then guess what I have to do? And I try to explain it to them. But again, you're talking about time. Like, I got time. If I have time, good time, I can make those comments. I can make the situation better. If you're in bad time, which means things are happening right now, I got to make a decision. Those things they're not going to come to light.
Gotcha.
And I've talked my way out of way more fights than I've been in by doing those things. It's funny because I just had a scenario that I ran last week. This isn't a real call. It's just a scenario that I'm in. And I'm in a canine search. My canine alert's on a door. We start to deal with that. And then the third shooter on the grassy knoll pops up. And he's on top. He's up on this like loft. And so now I've got these split problems. And I'm like, all right, well, let's take the dog out of the equation right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got two guys. We don't need to do anything right this second. Let's back out, give ourselves a little bit of time, a little bit of space, call the dog back, grab the dog. So now I'm dealing with this guy. And I'm like, okay, we'll deal with the guy that's in the back room in a minute. This guy's out in the open. Let's deal with him right now. Well, when I do that, guess what happens? The guy in the room comes out and runs. So now I'm like, okay, send my dog to go grab that guy. Now we push past this dude, deal with that guy because he's actively being bit by the dog. So we got to deal with that guy. We get that guy secured and done. Now we're dealing with this guy, right? And he's like, I'm not coming down. I'm like, dude, why not? He's like, well, I'm scared of your dog. I'm like, cool. If I leave the building with my dog, will you come down for the officers? Well, no. Well, then you're not really scared of my dog.
Yeah.
So I just told you I'll leave. If that's what it takes.
That's what it gets to be.
Yeah, I don't need to be in here with my dog. If you're willing to surrender, well, I'm only going to surrender to one of you. Well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's outside the realm. But if you're like, yeah, if you leave, I don't like that guy right there with a rifle. I don't like that guy's aggressive. He's got a rifle. That's a bad dude. I'm not coming down until that guy's gone. Cool. Hey, man, you step out. Sure. He steps out. You got to put your pride and ego away sometimes.
Yeah.
Sure. But the caveat is, and I'll tell these guys, I say, okay, he's going to leave the building, but if you don't surrender, he's coming back in because I'm going to call you on your BS.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're scared of that one person, or this happens a lot actually, and you kind of just mentioned it, this person had a bad interaction with maybe that officer, because we deal with the same people a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you'll hear the term like we deal with 10% of the people 90% of the time, and then the 90% of the people 10% of the time.
Your frequent flyers.
That's probably a real thing, right? So they're like, I don't like Officer, Shane. I don't like him. Last time I dealt with him, he was mean to me, and he did this and he did that, and I'm like, cool. Well, if it's you and I, and this guy's going to surrender, I'm like, well, if Shane leaves, will you come down and surrender? Sure. Shane, can you step out? And he steps out, and it goes good. But if I go, hey, Shane, can you step out so we can take this guy? And he steps out, and he's like, well, I didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you guys are here. Like, explain to me what's going on. And I'm like,
right.
dude, Officer Shane's coming back. I'm gonna deal with. I'm gonna use. We have 3. We're gonna use 3.
I'm gonna come in there too, and I'm gonna have my boxing gloves.
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah.
Remember me from last time?
That's right. Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah. This is round 2.
Yeah.
Fight.
Hulk Hogan died.
So
dude.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So bummed.
Dang, man.
It's crazy. He wasn't in good health, but I feel like those things that sometimes are so sudden and you're just like not prepared for it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big part of your childhood.
I met him when I was like 6.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
I had a Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy. Those like.
Oh, yeah.
I had one of those.
Yeah.
I was there when he fought Andre the Giant.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, it was cool. I
You're
was young, dude.
You're old.
Was that at like the
I'm
Coliseum?
It was actually at
When
the
they didn't
Madhouse on McDowell, yeah.
Madhouse at McDowell, the
Yeah.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm old.
I'm a lot older.
You're old,
Yeah.
man.
It's all right. It's all right. I can say I met him.
You can.
Yeah.
I can. I envy.
I had my yellow Hulkster shirt,
Hell
or
yeah.
Hulkamania shirt.
I think
It
the
was
only-
all tore up.
I think the only wrestler I met was it Kevin Nash?
Okay.
Big Diesel.
Yeah.
Him, and then there was another guy at that, whatever that was. I just don't remember, the convention or something like that. I don't remember who it was though, but that was the big name that I've met as a wrestling guy. And then I probably stopped wrestling. I don't know. I was probably like freshman, sophomore year of high school. It's kind of when I stopped watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stone
I used to be
Cold.
big into
God.
the UFC. I've been to a bunch of those. I've met a bunch of those guys.
UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still a big UFC guy.
Yeah.
So I used to train with a lot of them
Yeah.
prior to. So back when like Rich Franklin was champ,
Mhm.
Andre Arlovski was a big guy, Joe Daddy Stevenson was up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That's right. You did
I did,
Taekwondo, right?
Not Taekwondo, but yeah, I fought martial arts, and then I fought for 2 years competitively.
Oh, wow.
And so I did some just like straight kickboxing matches, which were a little more up my alley. And then
Yeah.
I did some full on MMA stuff. Luckily, I never came up against like a true grappler. Probably would have wrapped me up like a pretzel.
Mhm.
But coaches were really good about matchups. So they would call the other gym and be like, "Hey, I got this guy." Explain like kind of like the level they're at, and they would be like, "Oh, I got a guy that'll match up with him," and then we would go. And you kind of had like this, like you get in the ring with them or the cage or whatever venue it was, and you were kind of like, "All right, you ready? Yeah, all right." You're not gonna do like, you're not gonna like wrestle, are you? 'Cause I don't want to wrestle. It's tiring.
Yeah.
But so you kind of knew like you were going to be up against kind of that same style of opponent.
Right.
It wasn't like it is in the UFC where
Could be anything.
good luck, man. I mean, you might be fighting a really good wrestler, really good jiu-jitsu guy, really good striker, really good boxer. Who knows what you're going to get? I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to climb the ranks. But
Right.
so yeah, I did that for a couple of years, and luckily I was working for a guy who owned a concrete company at the time, and he built a UFC gym in the back. And Joe Riggs, if you remember Joe Riggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe Riggs was the, I won't say head trainer, but he was
the
kind of
coach.
head coach guy there. And so I was able to really friend up Joe Riggs and stole his pants and dressed up like him for Halloween one year. There's a picture of it.
Yeah, he lives in Surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a pretty big name in the UFC
he
for a
was
little
still,
bit. Huh?
yeah, I just saw him do like
He's doing bare knuckle.
brawling.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
like-
shit.
So he was a customer of mine when I was still in the car business.
But he also used to be damn near our neighbor. And
Yeah.
when we'd take the kids to, there's a bagel shop over in Surprise, and we'd see him, 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to know him pretty well. And then Edwin DeWeese was on like Ultimate Fighter probably 3 or 4. I got bait with him a little bit, and then I met Matt Hughes and got to wrestle around with those guys. And so some of the other guys, Chuck Liddell came. I was out of town. I didn't get to meet him. I don't think he trained with the guys, but I got to train with a lot of cool guys. Matt Pena was their boxing coach. Got to train with him. Mario Franz was a guy. I think Matt Pena was Militich camp.
Yeah.
He was in town doing his thing. Shoney Carter,
Yeah.
that guy's a trip to hang out with.
Who?
Shoney Carter.
I don't
Mr.
know.
International.
Yeah.
He was big in UFC in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I hung out with that guy a lot, and that guy was crazy.
Really?
Crazy. He's a lot of fun to hang out with, though. But yeah.
Yeah, and then Ben Henderson's here. He's got the
Yeah. Oh,
lab.
yeah.
So yeah, I never hung out with Ben. Never met Ben. I had a roommate that went to the lab that worked out with him, but I never got to work out with him. I was a little out of the game. At
Didn't
that point.
doesn't Sean's brother?
Sean O'Malley.
That's who it was.
No.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was at the lab with him. I was his roommate at the time.
Oh,
So
okay.
they were
Okay.
doing their thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I got to train with a lot of those guys, meet a lot of
That's
them in the
cool.
early 2000s, and then I
Dude.
went into law enforcement stuff.
He also knows Chuck Norris.
I do. I'm one of his black belts. Yeah, haven't seen him in a long time.
Oh, really?
Isn't that crazy?
That's cool.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, so I started martial arts in 94,
Okay.
and then I got to black belt in like 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was, and then I was pretty active in it all the way up to I'd say 24, 25-ish. And that's obviously I got married and had kids and things slowed down and, life happens. I'm working nights and it's just really tough to get in there. Still do it. I still am active. I actively work out, stay healthy. I actively box and still hit bags and stay sharp. But as far as like scheduled ritual training, I don't really do anymore. I just kind of like go to the gym and we'll smack the bag a little bit and get ready, but I haven't had any issues.
I've seen your videos like where you're kicking, dude. You got a fucking mean ass kick.
Yeah, they're
You
massive.
got long ass legs
Yeah,
too.
I've put a couple people down with those.
Really?
Yeah,
Eesh.
yeah, at work.
Oh, yeah.
One good kick, they're like rethink their decisions. Like, wait a minute, what is that?
Yeah.
Like my leg hurts. I can't feel it anymore.
And it's like, it's probably a good thing to know because nobody thinks about
Nobody
kick,
expects a kick.
you know?
Yeah, their hands go up, and then you throw one good thigh kick on them and completely take off their bait. It's really hard to fight when you have no legs.
Yeah.
And so you give them one shot, and then just kind of judge what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple guys take it, and they're like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, okay. Alcohol is so powerful. Alcohol and meth, dude. Yeah. There's nothing that you can do to stop those guys. But yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. So I remember before we started all this, you kind of mentioned that, you know, departments need guys.
Right? Oh, yeah.
So how big of a need is police officers these days?
Huge. It's a good question too. And it's one of those jobs. It's still a good job. It's still a noble profession. Mm-hmm. I will say, you know, if I was going to give one piece of advice to a younger generation coming in, is you do have to be self-motivated. The job will eat you alive if you become, you know, salty. It will. Mm-hmm. Like if you're like, screw these people or screw this or screw that, you're going to go down a drain. But it's self-fulfilling. So if you can get out there and you're doing what you want to do, and you know you're making impact, and you know it's good for you and good for that person that you're dealing with, that's kind of where it's at. And I think that's kind of where that's where the line's at. Is these folks coming in think that this profession is going to be something that it's not, so we lose them, mm-hmm. Or they get in, they realize, oh, this is real. Like I just got in a fight and this guy tried to take my gun. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. And I respect people that realize it's not for them, right? Because I don't want that person next to me when shit's hitting the fan.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather you get the gut check early on and decide it's not for you than to fake it until you make it. And that's not really a good theory in this line of work, because you're going to get yourself or worse, somebody else killed. Mm-hmm. And that's not just us. Like you're going to get a citizen killed because your lack of effort, your lack of understanding, your lack of training, your lack of education, your lack of ability. You're going to get somebody killed.
Yeah.
And that's the stakes that you're playing every night you go to work. I'm not saying every single night you're doing that. Certainly.
But you have to be prepared for it.
But guess what? You're being paid for what you might have to do, right?
Yeah.
And it's at any moment in the night, in the day, far, near. Like it could happen at a moment's notice. Like it is now go time, and it's you. And if you're not willing and able, you're going to get somebody killed. You know, possibly get somebody killed. And so when you go to work, you know, you have to have those mindsets. You have to have fun. It's such a fun job, man. I have laughed so much more than I've been scared or anything else. Like you look back, or you're out with the boys or your team, and it's so funny the things that we get into. You're like, dude, was that serious? Like, was that for real, man? Is this real life? There's that quote on TV. It's like you just got tickets to the best show on earth for Rose City or whatever that show was. It's honestly it is. But and then I think guys are starting to leave the profession early. You know, just because of the nonsense, the politics. Guys are just like, I don't need this, man. Like, I just don't. It's not good for my mental health. It's not good for my family. Mm-hmm. I'm all stressed. Like, I'm not sleeping. So I'm just gonna leave. And they leave.
Do you know if they're at least trying to get help, or
most of them are? A lot of guys do. They go to therapy, or they go to talk to somebody and things like that. And sometimes you just can't come back from whatever it is. And other times you do get the help and you're good to go. I know a guy very close to me that has overcome some real hardship recently. And, I'm proud of him. I told him I'm proud of him. He's doing well now. Luckily he's on track to retire here at the end of the year, but he's been fighting those for years. I mean, he's been fighting it a long time, and nobody really knew, know? And so he's getting that done. But it's one of those professions where I think people are looking at it and they're like, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't want to say heroed. Cops used to be looked at like, high in society, noble, professional, like kids still look up to us, right? But there becomes a point where now their family's like, you don't want to do that. You'll be
you guys are the most highly criticized.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I mean,
it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And that's the other thing is you get officers like myself. I don't get too deep into the weeds on it, but you do get them where they'll get so far into trying to change people's minds. I'm like, you're just not going to do it. Like they're not open for it. And nobody's ever criticized like a doctor. Like nobody goes on YouTube.
Openly,
like, look what
right?
this doctor did.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at this. Or
Nobody's in the surgery room like,
yeah.
that's the wrong scalpel, motherfucker.
He should not have done that. You know, it's always the cops that are we're in the public eye.
Yeah.
It's easy to get footage of us. You know, just listen.
Well, I think
to
the
a scanner
assumption
and
is
go.
that you're always in the mindset to do the aggressive piece
right.
versus talking the situation down.
Right.
Which, going back to like what you said earlier, I think it makes me more comfortable knowing that my son is going into this, knowing that using your brain before you use your gun is really what you want to lean into.
Yeah, like 99.9% of the time, it's your verbal your verbal judo that gets me, and that's the other hot topic, is the de-escalation. Yeah, I'm a de-escalation trainer, right? Gone through the course, done all that through force science. And it's really hard to de-escalate somebody when they don't want to be de-escalated.
Sure.
The first part of that is that you got to have mutual input. So the problem is you show up to a call and you don't try. You would have never known because you didn't try. That's a problem, right? But if you're there and you're trying and the person's not communicating, they're not listening, they're not listening to orders, they're not talking. Well, what do you expect us to do? What's your expectation? This guy's not talking to me.
Right.
Well, de-escalate him.
You got to make a decision.
Okay, well, guess what? This person isn't listening. He's not talking. So I am going to de-escalate it. Instead of using a lethal force, I'm going to use a less lethal force on this guy first.
Yeah.
And see if I can get some reaction from him. And if that works, great. But at some point in time, we do have to do something.
Sure.
What's the definition of a lethal force? Is that like physical force, or is that
it's
deadly?
Anything that can cause or potentially cause the death of a person.
Gotcha.
So lethal force might not be a gun. You know, if you're stabbing somebody with a pen or put them in now, if you put them in a carotid, it's lethal force, right? That got federally banned, which was crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Again, politics in law enforcement. That was the whole.
That was a smoking one, the dude in New York, right?
That came out after George Floyd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No neck restraints, no nothing. A federal ban on it, so we weren't allowed to do it anymore. And yeah,
as a police officer, with them taking that away from you guys, does that make your job a little bit harder?
It
that
does
something
it does in that like 1% of situations, right? So I remember we had a call of a guy freaking out in an apartment. Me and my partner get there, and I slugged it out with this guy, and I mean I put the screws to him, good, and he was on PCP. He just was not feeling pain, right? So pain was not going to work for this guy, clearly. Like I already filleted his face open. You know, I cut him on his eye. I need him. I probably broke some ribs. I don't know what happened to the guy afterwards because once we arrested him, he's gone. I've never seen him again. But I'm sure he suffered some consequences for that day. So we're in this room. Now this is right after the ban. This is like 2 weeks after, right? And so we're in this fight, this struggle with this guy, and I'm like, I don't know what they want us. We're gonna just have to beat this guy unconscious, and that's worse,
Yeah.
Right.
And I could have ended that thing in 10 seconds, taking his back, put him in a carotid, put him out, let my partner grab his arms, put him in handcuffs. At least he's restrained. He's gonna wake up and he's still gonna be doing the thing, but he's not gonna be able to physically get around. And we got some other means to restrict people's movements, and it's. In my opinion, he's facing a medical emergency too. He's overheating. His body's going to shut down here pretty quick. He's going to die if we don't do something, right? Well, his girlfriend, wife, whoever she was, significant other, she doesn't know what to do with him. She's like, I don't know what's going on. And he's freaking out. He just came home. We're like, okay, we'll deal with it. So we show up there again, not knowing what's really going on. She didn't tell us he was on PCP. She just said he's freaking out. So we go in there and it's like, hey man, what's going on? And he like looks around the corner and he's all frantic. I'm like, oh geez. I'm like, hey, doesn't want to communicate with us. So we start trying to get like an angle on him to see what's going on. And he's like, what are you guys doing? We're like, hey, we're here. What's going on? Freaking out. And the fight was on. Like we didn't have time to do anything. He's just running at us and fight's on. And I feel like if I put him in a carotid, it would have been over real quick. But now we're fighting with this guy for 2-3 minutes and we are just putting the licks to this guy. And so finally, Fire never got notified that we were in a fight with this guy. We never got to put it out on the radio. And it's early in the morning. And so Fire just comes walking in the door into the fight. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but firefighters don't like to fight very much. They're always like, oh, God, send police. This guy told us that we're bad. Send police.
Shots fired.
Yeah. I love my firefighters, man. I love them, but I got to razz them a little bit. Right?
Right.
That's funny.
Whenever we're doing, I'll go back to the story here in just a sec. But when we go on SWAT operations, we have a medic or two, and they're both firefighters. And I'm always like, hey man, you know I love you, right? Because that's gonna be my guy. Like if I ever take the round, he's plugging holes. So I'm always really nice to my firefighters. I love my firefighters.
That's funny.
And I do my best at night when somebody's like, oh, I'm on fire, my finger hurts. I always try to do my best to talk that person out of it, so I don't have to wake the firefighters up at 2:00.
Yeah.
Because dude, I feel bad for them because it's bullshit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they wait, and they're just like,
well, they kind of deal with the same thing, right? They're kind of running on the same people.
yeah. And you could tell they're so tired.
Mhm.
They're they probably just got back from a run or two, and they're trying to catch a couple hours of sleep because they're on the clock 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I try my best. So I always feel bad. I'm like, they show up. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like I tried. This guy was adamant. Like there's nothing I can do, man. I'm sorry. And they was like, oh, that's cool. But I do try to look out for my fire guys.
That was the first thing your brother said to Tyler. Is like, make sure that it's a real call. Don't call me out on no bullshit.
Yeah. Like
That's funny.
unless they're transporting you to the hospital or rendering medical aid, the firefighters aren't. Like they're not doing anything. They're giving you an ice pack or whatever, telling you it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Give you some Tylenol.
It's actually a really easy job. No, I'm just kidding. This guy's got to do some work.
Yeah.
So the firefighters walk in. We're already in this fight, and he comes running up. I don't even remember who it was, but God bless him. He comes running up, and he's like, "Now I've got one arm. My buddy's got like an arm and a leg. We're all twisted in like a pretzel." And he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Just sit on this guy. Just sit on his back." And he's like, "Okay." So he sits down, and this guy's still just fighting with us, right?
Damn.
So he's like, "You want me to choke him out?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, choke him out."
You do it because
Yeah,
I
you do
can't.
it. I can't.
So the firefighter, I think he trained for it, right? I don't think this is the first time he did it because he slipped in there perfect, put him right in the V, put him out. So we're like, oh, we got to handcuff this guy before he wakes up.
Yeah.
We're trying to catch a break. So we put him in handcuffs. He wakes up. Everything else. So I told the firefighters looking at us, he's like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Hey, we're not allowed to do that anymore." And just thank God he was there, man.
Yeah.
Right place, right time. Because I don't know what we were going to do.
That's crazy.
I don't know. And they took that tool away from us. And unfortunately, like you got to ban it for the masses, right?
Right.
Because you are playing to the lowest common denominator at times, and you don't want some new officer holding it too long or not applying it appropriately and damaging something in the neck, windpipe, esophagus, things like that. Like it's got to be trained. It's got to be trained frequent and often, and then it's obviously got to be used and sustained as a proper tool. So yeah, it's one of those things I got taken away, and it was like, man. Have you politicians ever fought somebody high on meth, PCP, something like that? Or
fought anybody ever?
Yeah, and they're like, well, use your
Right.
They're like, use your taser. Love taser.
Right.
I've never used a taser, but I love them. I've seen them used. I've never actually used one, but that's just opportunity. I just
Or the
never
whole
used it.
shoot him in the leg.
But use the taser. Well, the tasers, I think it's gone up. They've improved it. Year after year, they're always improving it. They always have the R&D guys going to town on that tool. But
What's R&D?
research development.
Oh,
Yeah, thanks. You learn something new every day. That's a true
I
statement.
do. Yeah. No.
They're always doing better. Like their darts come out a little harder now to penetrate clothes and things like that. But guys in the East, they're dealing with guys in sweaters and jackets.
Mhm.
Those taser darts aren't going to work. They're a little more robust now, but I think taser's success rate. Don't quote me. Don't hate me, taser, but I think it's like 40%. At best, it's 50. So you're telling me in a situation you want me to take a 50-50 shot at this?
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
Yeah.
it's better than a 0%. I'm like, fists aren't 0%.
Right.
Fists are going to land.
Yeah.
Dogs or canines are like
The accuracy
99%
of a dog mouth is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So when you're asking me to use a tool that's not super, super effective, but again, it's just lack of education. I kind of said at the beginning, like they're just not educated. It's not their fault. I think law enforcement could do a way better job of educating the public on uses of force, policies, procedures, what's normal, what's not normal, and things like that. But they're like, yeah, don't use a karate, just tase him. Yeah, that's because you've seen a successful taser deployment when it works and the person's
in a controlled
yeah,
environment.
and the person's just standing there, and you get the dart separation, you get the incapacitation, and you get the lockup, and it's great. But that one, I might not have the distance to do that. One, it might not work. You've seen guys get tased before they start doing like the alligator spin because they know it's hard for you to dart them up with when they're spinning around or doing
Really?
whatever. Yeah.
I need to write that
Well,
down.
you're gonna yeah.
When I get a tased.
So these we'll do it later. So you've got the taser dart and it's connected to the
lead.
the lead, which is electricity being delivered by the device. Well, if you snap that line,
Gone.
you're done.
Mhm.
So if I pop you with a taser and you fall a certain way and it rips that, now my
Your ability to charge is gone.
Yeah. Now they've done better. They used to just be 2 darts, one cartridge, you just ship it, put another one on, hit another. Done better now. You can get 2 shots now, and some of them are I think even more than that. This isn't a ploy for taser or anything like that. Like, and just so everybody knows, this is completely. This is not staged at all. Like none of this conversation. This is just going where it's going. Yeah.
So you say that the department can do better at training people, right?
I think educating the public.
Education.
Yeah.
Or that's what I meant.
Mhm.
How do you think they should go about doing it? I mean,
Social media is going to be
Social
number
media.
one.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got social media, things like that. So they do run citizen academies. Those are really good, but those are typically still kind of a little bit vetted, I think. So as far as I know, and most of the people that go to those want to. I think the only best way to get it done is put it in school.
Mm.
You got to have civics class. How to be a citizen.
Yeah.
And part of that class, part of a block of that education could be how do you act around the police?
Sure.
Because all they're listening to is their parents.
Yeah.
But how do I know what your parents are? And I would say 90% of parents are good parents. They want their kids to do the right thing. Everybody wants a good moral compass pointing north. They want to do the right thing. Conscious. Everybody has a conscience, whether they think they do or they don't. And when you lie, you get criminals lying all the time, lying. All of a sudden you're like, dude, come on, man. I know. Look, you're on video right here. And they're like, all right, man, yeah, I did it. And then you could see it. You can see it in their body language and their face and the way. I'm like, you feel better now, don't you? And they're like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel better. It's just a thing, dude. You hear about it all the time. Like, remember what was that old show?
Cops.
Yeah, Cops. 30 years been running now.
No plug there.
Yeah, no plug at all. Like the Fugitive show. Like they're out running around. Trying to remember what it was.
Cops.
30 years. So. Anyway, there's a Fugitive show where they're running, and every time the fugitive gets caught, they're like, "Oh, thank you!" Like, thank God. Like most of the time, because they're like, "Dude, I was so tired of running. I'm just glad I'm caught now."
What?
Yeah, because they're looking over their shoulder
Their whole
the
life.
time.
Damn. I didn't.
Like they're constantly thinking they're being surveyed. There's surveillance on them. They're constantly looking over their shoulder. They constantly think their friends and family are going to turn them in. Like there's all these things. They're just, dude. Their life is so uptight, and they have to watch every single move. And then once they
exhausting.
it's got to be.
That's
and then once they
crazy.
get caught, they're like, oh, okay, well, they're not glad they got caught. I don't mean in a sense like that,
Gotta
but
deal
I'm just
with it,
saying, like
right?
they're like the stress on their body and their mental fatigue
Yeah.
and everything that's gone. And I think that works with the conscious. That's how I think that works. And so I think you got to put it in schools. I think you got to get the education piece out there. Like you hear the humanizing of the badge all the time now. That's hard to do when all I do is respond to nonsense.
Yeah.
Like I don't get to go tell.
I've never heard about that. What do you mean? The humanizing of
Humanized badge. It's kind of like what we're doing right now. Like you get to,
gotcha.
you get to see me not talk about cop work, but not be like in your face telling you to get on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm put you in handcuffs kind of thing.
Well, and we're learning.
Yeah.
It goes back to
To the education piece. Like I totally have a different perspective
Yeah.
just listening to this for
Yeah,
the
it'll
last
change
hour
it.
and a half.
Mhm.
It's and again, knowing that my son's going to go through this and listening to somebody like yourself talk about how you try to avoid
Oh yeah.
it's not that you're afraid of the contact or
No.
whatever, but it's like I'm going to do everything I can to not have to go that direction.
Yeah, I could go the rest of my career and
Never throw a punch.
not get in a fight ever again, and I will be totally cool with it.
Right.
Like I definitely don't want to.
But that's not the assumption, right?
the assumption is I'm
average
going out.
person- yeah,
and I'm
that
going
you're
to
going
crack
out
skulls.
looking for a fight.
Yeah, I'm not. No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'd be lying if I didn't say my first 2 years I was like, heck yeah.
I think that's most.
that's most gung ho, like ready to rock and
Yeah.
roll.
If you were a
but
Athlete in high school.
and a
Yeah.
knucklehead, right?
Yeah.
The first 2
Yeah.
years on the road,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, I'm looking for a fight.
yeah,
Did
you're
you-
just looking to get into the like, what's this
Yeah.
all about? And then
Yeah.
you realize you're like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
This is what I thought it was. I thought
this
oh,
is
this
what
is
I
going to
had to
be
be.
police chases and
Yeah.
fights and gun battles. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's problem solving.
Yeah.
It's dealing with people's problems. And like I said a few minutes ago, unfortunately, you don't get to deal with, hey, my son is a scholar athlete. He just signed with a major conference D1 basketball player. I'm like, oh, dude, congratulations. That's awesome. Like, I'm proud of you. You're going to go do good things. Make sure to get your degree. You're going to do this, do that. No, I get to deal with
Scum.
Yeah, my son's being an asshole. He's
Right.
drunk. He's 17, and he says he's the man of the house. And I walk in, and I got this 17-year-old full of testosterone and alcohol going, "Fuck you! This is my fucking house. You need a search warrant." All right, bud.
How do you deal with because about that one incident you had with the whole bar thing? Like how do you deal with that adrenaline rise and dump and rise? You know what I'm saying?
So over the years, so I've talked about this too. I actually went to I don't know what he was exactly, but he was a doctor of some sorts for like some science. I really don't remember who he was, but I had the opportunity to like take him to the side, and I was like, "Hey man, what's your opinion on adrenal fatigue? Like, because I just don't get it anymore. Like gunshots,
Oh, wow.
yeah, gunshots. I'm like, what's that? Or like, you could drop a flashbang in here right now, and I probably wouldn't even flinch. Because I've been around it so much, right?
Mhm.
And he's like, no, you don't have adrenal fatigue. Like, when you go on a roller coaster, do you still have fun? I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, yeah, that's because you experience these all the time. But you're not on a roller coaster every day. But if I put you on a 900-foot drop, like you start getting amped up, I'm like, yeah, a little bit. He's like, yeah, you're fine. I was like, I didn't really think about it like that because I'm thinking about it from the lens of work.
Yeah, you
Like,
desensitized, right?
I go to work and there's a guy with a knife. I'm just not bothered by it. I'm just going to deal with the problem. Like I've seen that picture so many times. I've seen the guy with the gun. You know, I've been shot at. I've had all those things happen. So it's just not. It's not registering in my brain that that's a big deal. It's just another call. But when I get outside of work, I still get adrenaline. I still get like butterflies or whatever. Like I step up on the first tee at a golf tournament, and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel it. In my
You get
gut.
nervous.
Like I still get that nerves. Like
Yeah.
that's real. Like I'm still a person.
You got scared, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, you're a
Little
police officer and you got
scared.
scared. Wow, dude.
I'll go to the gunfight, but I'm scared of hitting that golf ball. Man. Shit.
Smoking that house
so-
on the right of the tee box.
Yeah. So I think the adrenaline, it's healthy. It's good. It's fun to chase the high, but that particular call, I don't think my blood pressure even like really rose that much.
Really?
Not really. I mean, it may have, but I didn't feel it. I've probably got to get to a point now, these are just numbers, but let's say that call put me at like 140 beats per minute. It might take 240 beats per minute before I even feel it again. Like, so anything between there, I'm just not going to feel.
Yeah.
Like I got to get to a certain threshold of like, oh man, this is crazy. Like for my senses to kind of get on overload.
But to get to that point, you had to start at zero, right?
Yeah. So
So how did you deal with that?
I think it's just experience.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example. Here's the thing about law enforcement. This is my favorite part of law enforcement is when I retire, I can sit on my porch or wherever and I can just start telling stories.
Mhm.
And some of them are not believable. Some of them are like, you're full of shit. I'm like, dude, I'm dead serious. This happened. Or like you meet people and they're like, no way. I'm like, oh yeah, dude. Like this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, I'll back up just a little bit. So lay out some of my, I don't want to call them achievement, but some of my things. So I'm a driving instructor, firearms instructor, rifle instructor, department armor, less lethal instructor. I think the only thing I don't do is DT, which is funny, right? I fought professionally and they don't have me
what's
defense
DT?
tactics,
Oh,
like how to fight. I'm not a teacher. I think they're like, I'm not sure if we want Joey to like
Black
teach.
belt, fought
I'm not-
MMA, but we're not going to use
I'm not
him.
sure that we want Joey teaching our guys.
we want to restrain these
Yeah.
people, not
Yeah.
knock them out.
Yeah. A bunch of ninjas walking around the PD,
Everybody's
right?
just kicking people in the thighs.
That was my nickname for years, was the Night Ninja. But so that's the only thing I'm not. So, but I do all these instructorship. I'm an active threat instructor. I've gone through force science. I've done a lot, and so I've been to a lot of calls. And this happened in, I'd have to look, but I want to say 17 or 18 is when this popped off. And this is one story I can share that kind of like affected me emotionally.
Mhm.
I'm usually like go to the call, do my thing, and I get emotionally detached. I go about my business.
Move on to the
and
next
that's the thing, right? And this one always hits a little different. So so excuse me if I do get choked up because everything went well, but the thought of what could have happened is always there, and I do get a little emotional because it's one of my boys, right? So and before I get into the story, so it's just like anything else. Like him and I were buddies in high school, but then he had like his 2 or 3 really close buddies. Like I wasn't like a close buddy. And I had 2 or 3 of my really tight buddies that I had. And you get into law enforcement, you've got your team, right?
Mhm.
Rock stars. Even on the SWAT team, I've got my guys. Those are all my guys. I'll go into any door with any of them at any time, right? But there's a few guys on that team that those are the ones that I'm going to call. Like, hey, dude, I got some things going on. I need to talk to somebody. Like, those are my guys, right? There's only a couple of them. So, love all of them. But I also know reciprocated, they might not call me. I might not be their guy. And that's okay. You got to have your guys.
Right.
So, this is a story about one of my guys, right? So, and I'll get back to the adrenaline, this kind of circle back here. But so I'm driving down the road and I'm getting ready to stop a guy, right? In a traffic stop for speed or whatever. And out of the corner of my eye, I see another traffic stop that's already taking place. And I'm like, who's that? I'm like looking on the screen and I'm like, oh, what are they doing? So they're on a detail on a whole nother channel doing traffic stops. I didn't even know he was there. I didn't even know it was him. So I'm like, that's just speed. Let me go over here. Make sure this guy's good to go, right? Prioritize. So I go back him instead. So I pull up, I get out, I walk up. It's a normal traffic stop. And I realize it's one of my best friends. And I'm like, what are you guys out doing? He's like, oh, we're on DUI task force. This guy might be DUI. And just, he's being cool. Everything's cool. I'm like, all right, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. If you want to take off, you can take off. I'm like, all right, no, I'll hang out, So I go walking up to the passenger door, and I'm very notorious for tactics. So I get in a position where a lot of people don't even know I'm there. One of my favorite things to do is listen to people. Like I go to a call, I'll listen to what people are saying for a while, and then I'll knock on the door. And then at some point in the conversation, I'll throw it out there. You're like, oh yeah, these Crocs. Canes. Sorry, Crocs. So these shoes, right? You're talking about how comfortable they are, things like that. You guys are talking, and then all of a sudden I'll knock on the door, in a couple minutes. Like, hey, is everything cool in here? Yeah, it's cool. Da 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 da. Hey man, are those canes or shoes? Or you're like, oh yeah. I'm like, dude, those look so comfortable. And you're like, we were just talking about that. And these people think I have like these superpowers, but I was just listening to their conversation.
Right.
They're like, yeah, dude, my cousin Doug's such an asshole. And then like I'll knock on the door, and then at some point in the time, I'm like, dude, you have a cousin named Doug? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, dude, I think I ran into you guys at one point in time. And it blows people's minds. But I do it all the time just to mess around with people. And then I'll tell them at the end, like, I'm just kidding, dude. I heard you talk about Doug. So
they're probably thinking
up,
like, shit, dude, this guy's on surveillance.
Yeah, what's this guy doing? Like, things are bugged. And so anyway, so I roll up to the traffic stop. I get into a position where this guy's got no clue I'm there. Right? And this is something I do all the time. And I'm sitting there for probably 10 seconds or so. And one of the reasons I do it is because a lot of times people will throw their dope down, or they'll do weird things, and they think that he's not paying attention, but I'm watching. And I see people meth pipes down, or they'll throw shit out the window, whatever they're going to do. And I catch it all the time. And so I'm sitting there at this window, and this dude, life in law enforcement's about behaviors and patterns. So you'll establish baseline patterns. And when there's something not right, I think you mentioned earlier, like Spidey sense or the sixth sense. It's what it is it's a pattern. So your brain establishes these patterns, right? So I'll do it subconsciously. If Shane goes to reach in his pocket, it means nothing to you, but to me, that's a pattern of going, what's he doing?
Right.
And it's just something that's instilled in me now. You'll see guys walk in, and as soon as I walk in, I look. I check the 90. Bad guys are always hiding. That's where I've been shot from in training. So I subconsciously look that direction, right? It's just what I do. And so I know what a pattern of a traffic stop looks like. And this guy is sitting in the driver's seat, and he's looking out the mirror. And he's like looking at the next mirror. He's looking at the other mirror. He's looking at the side mirror. He's kind of like leaning around. And then finally he like looks like he gets in a spot where he can now see my buddy, right? So now he's like doing this, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, it's like he hit that spot. So now he can see him. He knows where he's at. He's aware of his situation. So then I see this guy like in this position watching. He like pops the center console and like starts to slide his hand under. And I'm like, okay, that's different, because if he was looking for his registration or insurance, what do people do? They pop it open all the way. Oh, you want this? I don't want your expired insurance from 5 years ago. I don't. Here, this, that's emissions. This, that's the title to your car. You should probably take that out. Like, they give you all kinds of weird shit. So that's the normal behavior. Or they turn a light on so they can see.
Yeah.
Like there's patterns to this, right? Or So he kind of hits that center console. He's in a truck. It just kind of pops up. So then he slides his hand under there, like surreptitiously, all slow. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, normally when they throw dope, they like, they're trying to shove it in their seat or whatever. And so I'm like, what's this guy doing, right? So I always have a flashlight in my hand, obviously. And I turn my light on. Well, this guy is now indexed a firearm. So he's got his hand on the gun. And I described it in my report that it was like he touched a hot pot. Like when you don't think a pot's hot, oh shit. That's kind of what I described it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first words out of my mouth were no, of all things, when I watched the camera back. I was like, no. And I didn't say police. I didn't say drop it. Nothing like that. It was just no. And my thought process was, don't fucking pull that thing, right?
Right.
So he's like, so now he's looking this way out the window. He's reaching back. He grabs his pistol. All of a sudden there's a bright light. And the guy that says no, he pulls his hands back, throws his hands up in the air. I'm now drawn down on him. And I'm like, dude, I said a few choice words, but I basically said, if you reach for that again, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to kill you. And my buddy, he hears me yelling and he's like, what's going on over there? I'm like, get up here. He's like, well, I'm like, this motherfucker's reaching for a gun. He's like, oh, so we get him out of the car. We get him handcuffed. And at this moment, I will tell you, I'm not proud of it. They actually use it as a training video, which I don't have an issue with. I'm not embarrassed by it, but it's real, right? And I almost feel like I've never been around when they've trained it to the new guys. Your son will see the video. If he watches the podcast, if he in his post academy, he'll see this video, right? He'll be like, oh man. So they use this training, and again, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is my reaction, because I was out of control. I won't say out of control. I was still in control, but I'm losing it. I'm motherfucking this guy upside down. I'm just in a fury, right, of the thought that this guy was going to pull a gun and shoot my friend, right? My friend was going to be in a gunfight. Whether he lived or died, I don't know. But the fact that was about that could have happened, and all the things that were about to happen that didn't, right? Butterfly effect. I didn't stop that car. He told me to leave. I stayed there. I got in a position where I could see. All that came together, right? And I feel like if I would have not have done any of that, if I would have just been like, oh, he's cool. I don't know who that is. I'm going to keep going, do my traffic stop. He'd have been in a shooting, right? Right, or indifferent. And so we get this guy in custody, and I'm livid. Like, I'm pissed because this guy just didn't try to shoot at a cop. He was going to try to kill one of my best friends.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was emotionally attached to that. And so I was emotionally charged. I was pissed off. We got him out of the car. We actually didn't touch him. I was like, hey, get out of the car. He gets out of the car. I'm like, get down. So he gets down. Go down to your belly. We're like going down to the belly, grab him, handcuff him. I say a couple things, and if you saw the video, you'd be like, whoa. Because I could show you a video on a SWAT team search warrant where it's like super calm. Hey, you in the house? Come out. I'm like, just super calm. Hey, I see you. Step on out. And then you see this video, and you're like, whoa. So a lot of command was like, this is our announcement, because I do the announcements, not every time, but my main position on the SWAT team is the second guy in the door, and I have the announcements. That's part of my job, is to make the search warrant announcements. It's super calm. It's super like contact with people all the time. It's like I'm talking to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a little elevated so you can hear me, but it's very calm, very direct, very calming. That brings a calming to the situation too, because you're all out of control. That was your ass. They're like, Jesus Christ. So there's a calming to that too. But I was yelling at this guy, right? He's on the ground. I'm pissed. I'm yelling at him. I'm slapping handcuffs on him. I'm like, fuck you, guy. Like, fuck you. You're trying to kill my friend, right? And so command got a hold of this, and they were like, wait a minute. Like, he was out of control. He's on our SWAT team. Blah, blah, blah. So I did have a commander who knew me personally come up, and he's like, dude, you good, man? I was like, yeah, I'm good. It's like a week or two later, so I didn't know what he was talking about, because I've gone back to work now, right? He's like, yeah, man, you sure everything's cool at home? Like, everything's good at work? Like, you're not going through anything? I'm like, nah, dude, I'm square. I'm good. He's like, okay. Yeah, I watched your video on that traffic stop, and I just, that's not like you to do that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, dude, yeah. That one got me, because I never experienced that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was a new experience, and that's just the raw reaction of how it happened. Now, I come in that situation tonight, it's probably going to be different, because I've seen it now.
Yeah.
So like if that same exact situation or a very similar situation pans out like that, I would expect my reaction to be a lot different. And so when you get that raw adrenaline spike like that, that's what it takes for me to get that, is something that has never happened, that could just be catastrophic.
But I would imagine naturally, I mean, there's a sense of protecting of each other.
100%.
So you're, it's, I wouldn't think that that's abnormal. It would be no different than if you or I were out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
not that I'm anything like, you know,
No.
a cop, but I would do anything to protect you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And my natural instinct would be to flip out,
Oh yeah.
not to be like, hey, you know,
Yeah. Well, that's
So-
why DV laws are so strict. Is because you and I can get in a fight. Not a big deal. We don't know each other other than today, and hopefully going forward. But
yeah,
we don't know each other. We can get in a fight and then go have a beer, and it's not a big deal.
right,
But when I get in a fight with my wife, that's a big deal. I'm emotionally attached to
right,
her. I've been with my wife for 15 years.
yeah,
So when we get in a fight, there's an emotional attachment to it. It's a lot more volatile. It's that involvement of a fight is so much more. And that's that thing is like, hey, you're fighting my buddy. That's my boy.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get involved in that. You're gonna be much more emotional.
yeah,
Versus if you just see two guys fighting at a bar, you're like,
yeah.
wow,
dumbasses.
hey, $5 on the guy in the black.
Right,
Like it's not a
right.
big deal to you.
Yeah. You know, this has been super educational for me, and I think going back to what you're talking about is like getting the community educated on, you know, not necessarily what you guys do every day, but how you guys interact with the community, and,
Yeah.
and how the goal isn't to be the aggressor; it's to figure out, you know, a common way of coming to a resolve that doesn't necessarily have to mean being aggressive.
And yeah, like I said, bad guy. I use that term loosely. That's just a common thing that we say. Oh, this
Yeah.
bad guy. But every person, perpetrator, anybody in a situation always has a vote.
Yeah.
And what your vote is how we're going to react to it. We're always reactionary. There's only unless you're doing active threat or hostage rescue, there's really no point in time where officers are like offensive. It's all reactionary. Now, I'm not saying that they don't go on the offensive based on what the person's doing.
Right.
But I'm talking just going in to be offensive. There's only like 2 situations ever.
Yeah.
And the person always has a vote. Always.
Well, I think I can speak for Shane. I'd love to have you back multiple more
Sure.
times and continue
Yeah.
to learn about this
Yeah.
and better understand, you know, who's protecting our community and, you know, really who we lean on
Sure.
from,
It'd be
you
a
know,
pleasure.
from,
Yeah.
from a
Pleasure.
citizen and who we
Well,
can
you did
trust,
you did
so-
mention that the department or whatever your community could do better at
Yeah.
teaching or educating the public. Maybe
Yeah.
this could be the platform for that.
This is
know
always
what I
a
mean?
step.
Yeah.
Yeah, step in the right
So-
direction for sure. So
So I'm definitely glad to, you know, have an opportunity. You were all excited and I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Get to meet you. But
Well, Joey was like the probably top 3 person that I was like, when we started this, I was like, I need to have him on.
yeah.
yeah.
No,
You know,
it's been cool. And I'm
Actually-
looking forward to hearing more.
Yeah, I should talk to him, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, yes."
Yeah,
I was
let's
like,
do it.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
totally down.
We appreciate you coming on. It's been a lot of fun. I definitely, you know, have learned a ton and look forward to learning more from
Good.
you. So
Good.
yeah, looking forward to having you on again.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be on again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well,
thanks for
thanks
tuning in. We hope that the Chargers have a shitty season.
No, we don't.
If you have any questions that you want answered in the next
Yes.
episode with
Feel
Joey,
free. Feel free to
definitely
ask.
shoot us a message. Let us know what you want to know about, and we'll do our best to answer those questions.
Yeah, and I'll tell Shane, like, don't tell me the question. Just let me do it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
give it to
We'll
me.
lead you in
Give it to me straight, and I'll try to answer it like
I'll give it to you.
on the spot.
I'll give it to you.
I don't
real
like
straight.
I don't like pre-planned answers.
No.
No.
Well, this is random
Yeah,
as
I mean,
it
This,
gets. So
yeah, honestly, this was great. This is good. I enjoy talking to people, especially people I don't get to talk to a lot.
Right.
And reaching your guys' audience, obviously, and hopefully we can grow that.
yeah.
And I'd love to be a part of that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And but this was 100% non-scripted.
Yeah.
Like I just showed up,
Yeah.
got an address,
I did tell him to wear a black hat.
like, what's up, and came on and just said, hey, I'm Joey, let's do this, and
Yeah.
and we just started talking. There was
Yep.
no
Yeah.
script, there's no introduction. There was just let's just get going, and
Let's
that's
go.
the way I like it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do it more for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Bye.
You, friends, everyone's gonna be friends. And plus, you better ride like you ride.